CBC Television, Windsor 9, your Stanley Cup playoff station.
It's a big sports night for Boston fans. Roger Clemens is pitching. The Celtics meet Indiana in the NBA playoffs. But the center of attention in the hub of New England is the Bruins at Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship.
CBC Sports presents Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs.
By 1972, the Beatles had disbanded, but the Boston Bruins were making their own records and winning a Stanley Cup, led by a Fab Four of Espo, Cheevers, Busick, and Orr. Today, the beat goes on in Boston, again led by a rock-solid quartet of stars. This band is also strong in goal, on the blue line, and with a 1-2 offensive rhythm. After a hard day's night of the flu, the cheers of Boston fans were music to Andy Moog's ears. His act in Game 1 left even Mario singing the blues. Just like yesterday, Ray Bourque let it be another Bruin night to celebrate with a goal and 2 assists. While Craig Janney and Cam Neely were in harmony for 3 goals and 5 points in a 6-3 win over Pittsburgh, as Boston moved another step down the long and winding road to the Stanley Cup.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Before the opener, Bob Johnson measured the Garden Ice while others wondered if the Penguins could measure up. One yardstick of Pittsburgh's success is the emergence of stars like Kevin Stevens, who staked them to a 2-1 lead. But the Pens rulers saw other dimensions of this encounter slipping away. Boston's biggest forward, Bob Sweeney, cut Pittsburgh star Mario Lemieux down to size with an evening of tight checking. Mario did find a square foot of open ice, but his goal was disallowed, and the Penguins were losing their foothold on the game. Johnson twice discovered that the Garden Ice was too small to conceal an extra man. And so it became a night of frustration and confrontation, both in the stands and on the ice, where the Bruins would stand up to all Pittsburgh challenges. Penguin dreams of an opening night win were sent crashing on an evening where the tail of the tape indicated that the Penguins didn't fit the bill. Tonight from Boston, they look for a measure of revenge in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship.
Tonight's telecast is brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. By Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment, quality is job one. By Esso Associates and Imperial Oil, you're on your way with Esso. And by Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
Dallas may be on the minds of many tonight, not here at the Garden, where Pittsburgh and Boston continue to stage their own high drama in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC and the Stanley Cup playoffs. The talk before this series was about Pittsburgh's offense. So what happens in Game 1? The Bruins match their playoff high of 6 goals, and Cam Neely continues to be quite a story. 2 more goals in Game number 1. He moves ahead of Phil Esposito on the all-time Bruin playoff list with 47 goals. He has 14 in 14 games to lead everybody this year, and he's just 5 shy of the all-time leading single-season Stanley Cup record of 19, co-held by Reg Leach, Jari Kurri, and Nuzi Lalonde. The Bruins did control the tempo of Game 1 during the play and during the stoppages, much to the frustration of Coach Bob Johnson.
Well, you know, one, I don't think you're ever going to get into a tempo game in the building, even though they had a lot of delays. They're very good in their delays. They send out 6 guys, and you know, they only can play with 5, and one has a tough time getting off the ice, and then he goes back and talks to the referee. Then when they're all ready to go, Raymond Bourque changes the stick. I mean, they pretend like, you know, we're not very smart and not really know what they're doing, but they did a good job of stalling. Then as soon as there's a commercial on television, they go change the stick again, you know what I mean? And I have no control over that. That's up to the referees. The referees have to line them up, blow the whistle, and drop the puck. But they did a very good job of delaying and stalling in the games. So when Raymond Bourque's ready to play, okay, let's play, guys.
But one loss won't discourage Badger Bob and the Penguins, since they lost the openers of their previous 2 series against the Devils and the Washington Capitals.
Well, game one, we're disappointed we didn't win. We felt we played well enough to win the hockey game. We had some costly turnovers, you know. In football, they call it interceptions or fumbles, or basketball is turnovers. They capitalized on our turnovers and put the puck in the net. Andy Moog played a very good game for him. We lost the first game to Jersey. We lost the first game to Washington, came back. So we just have to regroup and come storming right out of the gates.
Yes, the Penguins must find a way to beat Andy Moog. Mike Milbury says his goaltender's never been better, allowing 12 goals in his last 5 home playoff games. Andy Moog was a big story in game 1. He spent the afternoon at Massachusetts General Hospital suffering with dehydration. Well, the same story applies today. Gary Galley reported to the hospital this afternoon, but is here to play tonight. Now let's go upstairs and join Dick Irvin and John Garrett.
Well, thank you, Chris. And if the Bruins had to go to the hospital to find out what to help them cure their ills, I guess the Penguins are going to have to do it right on the ice. They are the team, as always in a playoff. Somebody has to win one on the road. It's Pittsburgh in this series. They did not get off to a good start, John, doing that here in Boston.
They had a long layoff, and they played a weak mental game in game 1. We talked about their keys before game 1, and in those areas, they didn't play very well. Too many giveaways. The thing that the Penguins have to look at, you can't give the puck away in that area right by the blue line. They were guilty of it and ended up in the net. Look at complete control. They give the puck away to Galley, to Janney, and look at all the time he's got. All day to beat Tom Barrasso. You can't turn the puck over at your own blue line. And defensive zone coverage, you have to make wise decisions on who to watch. Again, the Penguins, now watch this play. They've got lots of men back. Gordy Roberts goes behind the net. His other defenseman's already there. And then Randy Gillen goes behind the net. Dave Christian is all by himself to slide it behind Tom Barrasso.
Okay, the Bruins are coming onto the ice now, led by Andy Moog, getting the usual standing O here at the Boston Garden. They played with a lot of confidence as that game went on, John, the other night.
They really did. In the first period, they looked like they were a little disinterested, but then their power play started to click. It was a big factor, and their physical style of play. They created some turnovers that the Penguins gave them, but it was that physical style of play, and especially against smaller players like Mark Recchi.
Well, in a playoff series, it's always interesting to watch certain matchups. We got a couple going here.
Cam Neely showed great restraint, not retaliating on Simonson. He'll have to do the same thing here in game 2.
And the big guy was watched by a big guy.
They were talking about putting Randy Burridge on Mario Lemieux, but wisely they stuck with Bob Sweeney. He's big, he's strong, he's got a reach almost as big as Mario Lemieux. You have to have somebody with the physical stature of Bob Sweeney to watch Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, Mike Milbury said it'd be interesting to watch Burridge wrap Mario in the knees all night. Well, Bob Cole is here as usual in the broadcast booth, and Robert will be calling the play-by-play for us once this game begins. So game 2 of this conference final is next, when Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC continues from the Boston Garden in just a moment.
Bit by bit, putting it together, piece by piece, the way to make an idea work.
It takes people to create ideas, and it takes Xerox to create the technology to help them put those ideas together.
Every moment's contribution, every detail plays a part, putting it together.
Putting together documents that transform ideas into reality. Faxing, scanning, copying, printing. Xerox, the document company.
Charlie, the Johnsons are having something delivered. It's a new air conditioner.
That's nice, dear.
What system's so great they'd buy it this early?
Must be a Lennox.
Like I was saying, I just bought a new air conditioner.
Uh-huh.
Got a great deal. They say my energy bills could really drop.
Hey, a Lennox must be a Lennox.
Oh, yes.
Lennox Heating and Air Conditioning.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Boston Garden, where the Bruins and the Penguins are about to do battle in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Final. Bruins up 1-0 on their 6-3 win on Wednesday. And after this one, of course, off we go to Pittsburgh for 3-4 on Sunday and Tuesday. And here's the young man who has been writing the script for the Boston Bruins in this spring of playoff hockey, Andy Moog. Tom Barrasso is going to have to turn it up a notch or two if the Penguins are going to win one in Boston. He allowed 6 goals, you'll remember, on just 23 shots. He's better than that.
He is a key to this Pittsburgh Penguin team, but a real streaky goalie. Interested to see how he bounces back after that mediocre performance in Game 1. And a look at Bob Sweeney as he goes off the ice. He played an awful lot in Game 1, shadowing Mario Lemieux. Can he do it 2 nights in a row?
These Bruins are poised to take a 2-game lead. The Penguins, of course, have other ideas. We'll know in a little while. Right now, Rennie Rancourt steps on the red carpet, and the American national anthem is next.
Ron Harry.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Rennie Rancourt and the American national anthem. The referee coming to center ice for this hockey game is Dan Marawali. And again, on the lines, Gord Brosiker and Kevin Collins. We always talk about goaltending in the playoffs, and here they are for tonight again. As we mentioned, Tom Barrasso starting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you don't have to guess who's down at the other end. Andy Moog has been superlative in these playoffs. What a role he's on.
He really is, and coming out of the hospital to play after fighting the flu and being fed intravenously for a couple of hours, Andy Moog played very well and said he felt great after Game 1.
Poulin, Skriko, and Christian with Bork and Wesley, the starting lineup for the Boston Bruins. Bork with Francis and Recchi for Pittsburgh. Roberts and Murphy, the defenseman again. Pittsburgh going to the attack first. Recchi trying to push one out front. Murphy, number 55, comes in from the blue line. That is Francis being pinned on the boards by Wesley. And Skriko takes his time in front of the net. Gets it up to center. Here's a break. Christian going right in. Stopped by Barrasso. What a great play by the Bruins to have Christian alone behind everybody, and he had 60 feet to think about it, and so did Barrasso.
Well, you talk about getting into the game quickly as a goaltender, John. You can't ask for more than this for Barrasso.
Skriko to Poulin, now the pass to Christian in behind Larry Murphy. Had no idea that Christian was there, but look at Barrasso, well out of the net, patient, waited for Christian to make the move. Look at Barrasso, way out, backs in, waits for Christian to make the move, then goes down and makes a save, and a big save early for Tom Barrasso.
What a test. 38-second mark. The first period for Barrasso. He was there. Ray Bork now. Hands it off. Wesley. Shot picked away by Barrasso. Big Mario Lemieux coming out for Pittsburgh, and Bork was back. They knocked it away from him, but he got it back again and centered it. Samuelson coming in from the line. Samuelson left it at the blue line. Lemieux got in front. Stopped by Bork again. 3 Bruins on the play. And Bork going off, shot the puck into the Pittsburgh zone. Stevens right back up the ice for the Penguins. Looking up at the Boston blue line. Neely just missed it. He was in full flight. Turned away by Andy Bogue. That long, low shot. Don Sweeney starting to play. Neely is nailed hard by Samuelsson. He is shaking his head. Neely was hit by Samuelsson. He'll line it up. And Neely is going to the Boston bench. That's the hardest check in the series.
As he went to the bench, he had words with Dan Mariuelli. Neely thought that Samuelsson had his elbow up.
Samuelsson dealing the first heavy hit of the game. Lazaro coming in, and he was nailed trying to go along the boards. Yager behind the net for Pittsburgh. Penalty coming up. It's going to be against Boston. Nyland is in a scrap right off the bat with Jennings.
Well, if you look back to the Montreal series and through the first game of this series, this is the first time Chris Nyland has dropped his gloves.
He was getting the original penalty, and I think he's hoping that Dan Mariuelli will call offsetting minors and then fighting majors.
First penalties of the game.
Sports Weekend. Golf, the Memorial from Dublin, Ohio. And the best are there on a tough Jack Nicklaus course. The unpredictable Ohio weather can also affect the scores, but some golfers don't let anything bother them. CBC has the final 2 rounds of the Memorial on Sports Weekend, starting Saturday, May 18th.
Grant Jennings in the penalty box. Chris Nyland on the home side. There hasn't been anything up on the board yet or announced about an extra 2. Interesting sequences leading up to that fight. Here's the face-off. Neely winning it cleanly from Trottier. And then they have a little bit of a set, too. But that clash between Samuelsson and Neely. So poor Cam had his work cut out for him, John. Here's the matchup you talked about, John, off the top of the show right here.
Now look at Neely's got his head down looking for the pass, and right there, the forearm and elbow. And I think Cam Neely had a justifiable complaint on that one, but that was a good hit. I think Samuelsson would have taken the 2 minutes just to have that good solid hit on Cam Neely.
Well, Nyland gets the extra 2, so through all of this now, the Penguins end up on a power play.
There is no score, and we played just 2:07 of the first period. Nyland and Jennings in the first scrap of the series. Duras will come over to serve the minor penalty against Chris Nyland.
They called it high sticking. I thought it was going to be roughing right away. Nyland had a stick in Jennings' face, but then he gave him a shot with the glove on. And Dan Mariuelli is now going over and warning the Boston bench not to take a unsportsmanlike penalty. Seeing as how they're a man short already, I'm sure the bench will be quieter.
Pittsburgh with Mario Lemieux. This is Murphy and Recchi for Stevens. Coming in on the play on the other side, Scott Young. So that's the power play for Pittsburgh. Murphy. And now Young back to Murphy. Slides it into Lemieux again. Young shot. Nice save by Moog. His first test. Another shot missing by 2 feet to the left of Andy Moog. Pittsburgh power play on the boards. That's Recchi going to the corner against Bork. Mario Lemieux got it out front. Here's a shot off the goal post. A good shot by Stevens very quickly, and it hit the post and came back to Moog.
Bob, that hit the inside of the post. That's amazing how that thing didn't go in the net. It wasn't a dead on, it was in the inside.
Mario behind the net sets it up for Stevens. He misses the pass, but look at Stevens, a fadeaway jumper, and you can tell from the clunk how far inside that hit, and it still stayed out. When you're playing well, you get breaks like that. Andy Moog is playing well and gets a big break right there.
Good quick shot by Stevens, about half an inch away from a goal. Bill Bork for Lemieux. the corner at the side of the net. It's centered again. Murphy has to hustle back, and he won't make it in time. He fell. Pulling up for Boston. Gets him with a backhand shot. He just missed. He had Barrasso moving the way he wanted him, and here's a penalty coming up against the Penguins.
Well, as often happens when some aggressive penalty killing takes over, and they were heading straight for the net, Poulin and Burridge. Burridge was hooked down from behind by Ron Francis, and he gets the call. 2 minutes. There goes the Penguins power play with 49 seconds left in the Nyland penalty.
There's Poulin on Larry Murphy, but watch Randy Burridge keep the legs going, keep driving to the net, and that's where Ron Francis takes him down and takes a penalty.
Better pace of this game, John, to start with than I feel than the case was 2 nights ago in Game 1.
More emotional, you could tell right away with that hit from Samuelson on Neely. It's got the emotion involved in this game, something that was lacking through most of Game 1.
49 seconds from now, the Bruins will have the man advantage. Duras sitting out a minor penalty against Nyland. So 5-a-side and Barrasso will cover up again. So they'll do it all over again to the right of the Pittsburgh net.
Here's a replay now a moment ago. Young Yager looking to get on or a change or whatever, and he pokes the nose of the coach behind him.
Wants to get more ice time. He's not going to do that very often.
Trottier winning the draw. Hooked it back in front of his net. Now from the corner, Gordy Roberts starts the Penguins out. Erdina backhands one end to Andy Moog. Alley taking his time, turning around against Yager. Here's Bob Sweeney with a pretty good rush. He fell, the puck beneath him, and that stops the play again.
Well, certainly one of the most talked about players after the first game, Bob Sweeney, a Massachusetts native out of Boston College, 15 goals this year. Big guy, 6'3", 200. I guess if you're going to check Mario, that's just about the statistics you need from a height and weight standpoint.
He scored a goal in Game 1, and Mario Lemieux was held to 1 point, and that came on the power play where he got a little more room. Sweeney did a great job making sure that Lemieux couldn't get involved in the play.
Pittsburgh starting up. Through center ice, Erie takes it in on the right side, centered it. Don Sweeney trying to cover for Boston. Mario Lemieux lost it. Here's a break for Sweeney. Bob Sweeney going in. Trying to hit the short side and missed. Duras is out of the penalty box. The Bruins have the man advantage. And Ray Bourque got him up as far as the Pittsburgh line. It's wrapped down the ice. Ice stick made contact, so they stopped the play.
Bob Sweeney shadowing Mario Lemieux, and he gets a chance, an offensive chance. And look at Sweeney trying to follow Lemieux, and Lemieux did this in Game 1. In the first period, he fought off that check, and here he tries to create some offense, but it goes the other way. Lazare to Sweeney, and look at Sweeney at the end of a shift, has trouble with his stamina getting to the puck, and then just snaps a high one. Had some room short side, but shot it wide on Tom Barrasso.
And 58 seconds left in the Francis penalty. From the face-off. Boston taking their time. There's no score in this first period. Up to center ice is Neely. In on the left wing it goes. Paglianetti has to hurry back for Pittsburgh. Bourque can't stop it at the blue line. In center again. Bourque. Put it into Janney. Janney takes his time. He hangs on to it. Gets it back to Bourque. Screen shot. That's blocked. And the rebound comes right back to Bourque on the pass. Into Janney again. Stiff angle for him, though. Here's Janney getting set. Another penalty coming up. And it's going to be against Pittsburgh again. And they go through a tough routine early in this first period.
couple of ex-Whalers in the penalty box. This time Ulf Samuelsson joining Ron Francis on a cross-check. And John, guess who he cross-checked in front of the Pittsburgh net?
He got away with the first one here. Neely goes to the front of the net. He's very effective, and Samuelsson trying to take him out. Now watch this.
No, who should
it could have been Taglianetti, could have been Samuelsson, either one, and Samuelsson goes.
Taglianetti hit him first.
Roberts hooked one high on the glass. It doesn't get out. Wesley stopped it with a skate. Now Wesley gets set. He has Bork on this side, and here's Bork with the puck. Back to Wesley. To the other side, right through the skates of Neely. Ruzicka is back of the net. Ruzicka set it up back there. They score! Neely slammed it in from Janney.
Cam Neely now 4 away from the playoff record with his 15th goal of the playoff.
And another power play goal, but look at the play by Ruzicka. Pulls the Penguins to one side, to Janney, to Neely, and that opens up the other side. Ruzicka starts to come out, and that pulls all 3 Penguins to one side. That opens it up for Neely and Janney on the other side. And Neely on his forehand has no trouble beating Tom Barrasso.
5:23 the time of the goal. Boston leads 1-0. Pittsburgh scores! Right back as Stevens jamming one in from in close, and we're tied just like that.
13 seconds unofficially between goals. And Stevens, the local Boston area product, quiets the crowd as they come right back. It's 1-1.
Andy Moog broke his stick in the corner. Now watch this pass, goes right through the crease, and Moog has no stick. Moog normally would pick that puck off with his stick. Now look at Andy Moog. He's got no stick, comes out to Stevens, and Stevens slides it in. And look at Andy, still got just the handle of his stick in his hand. Normally Moog would have intercepted that pass. Stevens right there to put it in.
So at 5:23 the Bruins, and now at 5:36 the Penguins. 1-1. Poulin shoots the puck in for Boston. And now he stops it along the boards and lost control. Stevens trying to pick it up. He had to turn around and he fell. Now he gets back into it, but Poulin came up there to hit him. Centering pass is deflected right onto Poulin's stick. Poulin took a shot as he gave it to Christian. And now Spico dropped it to Bork. That's blocked by Barrasso, and a good shot by Bork down low. Recchi going after the puck. He knocked it down with a high stick. And they call the play, but Recchi is in trouble.
Two guys the same size here, Don Sweeney and Recchi going at it toe-to-toe, and now everybody gets involved.
Bob mentioned Recchi in trouble. A couple of Bruins had him pinned when it all began. He and Sweeney were the main attraction.
Nearing the 7-minute mark of the first period in a tie.
Some clubs just exude quality, longevity, and precision. Well, the Sears Club is no different, because every time you use your Sears card, you collect points that can be redeemed for almost anything in the store or catalog, where you'll find some real quality, longevity, and precision. Welcome to the club.
After the first game, a lot of people were saying, boy, there wasn't the intensity or the emotion that it was experienced in this building in the Montreal series. Well, in the first 6.5 minutes of this game, John, things look a little different.
Here's how it all starts now. It's up with a high stick right there, and the whistle's going to blow anyway as soon as it's touched. And there's a shot, Recchi on Sweeney, and now in comes Ray Bork, and then everybody else comes in, and it's Sweeney and Recchi who get the penalties.
Cam Neely on the draw, drops one back to Galley. Samuelsson near center ice, took a shot from Bob Sweeney. Here's Bork going in with a shot, and Lemieux came close. The shake it off and skate to center. Bob Sweeney in, dropped it. Ruzicka, nice save by Barrasso. Neely can't find it. Mario Lemieux up the center with Phil Bourque. Bourque along the boards into the corner. Andy Moog reaching out. Lemieux coming close again. We now welcome you people in Atlantic Canada to this game here in Boston. It's a 1-1 tie already in the first period. Long shot that Moog kicks out. Another shot that's wide of the net. Samuelson moving up there, and he's bumping with Ruzicka. They're nearing the 8-minute mark of the first period. Neely scored his 15th of the playoffs from Janney and Ruzicka on a power play for Boston. And then at 5:36, 13 seconds after that first goal, Stevens from Francis and Recchi. And it's a 1-1 tie. A very spirited start to this hockey game. Game 2 of the Wales Conference Final. Barrasso knocking one down. Verdina played it off the boards. From the blue line, a shot is stopped easily. Played up to Yager, reaching for it. He's got that great reach. Young Yager, there he is, kicking the puck out, but he's offside, and that stops the play. Here's the 19-year-old babyface wonder of Pittsburgh.
Earlier, Bob Sweeney and Mario Lemieux, and Sweeney's task again is to check Lemieux, and here it is, the check. Now watch the hit here, Lemieux and Sweeney right there, and watch the right hand. Lemieux's head snaps back, he looks over to the referee and doesn't get the call from Dan Maruelli.
12 minutes left in the first period, 1-1. Bruins one up in the series on their 6-3 win 48 hours ago. Behind all stations. At the next commercial position is position number 5. And here's Hoover with Burridge trying to get position number 1 in front of Tom Barrasso. But he's knocked down with a hard check. And the Penguins go in, offside. More pushing and shoving. This has been happening throughout this first period. We've only played 8:20. They look like they could go at it at any moment.
Every game I gotta wear all this stuff to protect my body. But I just slip into these to protect my feet. The pump from Reebok. Hey, I switched to the pump for support, protection, and a custom fit. Which means Boomer knows something that Bo don't know. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
Neely, his 15th of the playoffs at 5:23. And then Stevens right back 13 seconds later to tie it for Pittsburgh.
Much more physical game, even the fellows who aren't the big fellows getting it on the act. Here's Bob Airy drilling Randy Burridge.
And that's after Burridge took a run at old Samuelson. The Bruins retaliating a little bit on that. Samuelson just decked Cam Neely in the first shift of this game, and that's why it's been an emotional second game here to this division final.
Another hard hit at the far side. Scott Young was drifted along the boards. Here's Ray Bourque. He can't get in around the corner. Shot from the sharp angle, hit the side of the Pittsburgh net. Young poking at it, gets up across the line. Stevens chasing, but Andy Moog got his glove down and held it as Ray Bourque tried to help him.
Cam Neely's goal is 15th of the playoff. That's a Bruin playoff record. The previous record had been held by Barry Peterson, who is here tonight as one of the non-uniform Pittsburgh players. Peterson scored 14 in the playoffs of 1983.
Peterson has yet to dress for the Pittsburgh Penguins in this playoff season. Traveling with the team, good insurance, but I'm sure Barry would much rather be out there on the ice for the Penguins.
And the face-off deep in the Boston zone to the left of Andy Moog. Francis comes to center ice to take this draw. Poulin for Boston. Stevens parked to the left of Francis. Christian just off to the right of Poulin. And Wesley, the defenseman, is there also. On the face-off, it is Wesley going around the net. Coming out, and Christian starts to move out now, but he didn't see it in time. Poulin did and threw it over the Pittsburgh line. Here's Stevens. Back up for Pittsburgh. Recchi and Stevens get together. Stevens finding some room to go in. Looking up inside the line, right in front of the net, and Moog again has to cover. And Stevens giving a shot or two. Hammond hit him first.
During the first game, the Penguins had someone keeping track of the number of whistles, and there were 65, but through all of that, there was only one scrum after a whistle had gone. This is about the 6th or 7th, and the first period isn't half over in this one.
The Penguins talked about not getting to the net and not getting in on top of Andy Moog to create some scoring chances. They've really been driving to the net, and this time Kevin Stevens went to Andy Moog. Moog reacted, and then all the Bruins came to their goaltender's defense.
More penalties at 9:06 of the first period.
We love the outdoors. That's one reason I've quit using toxic cleaners. It's been easy because Simple Green really works better on almost everything. Since it's concentrated, Simple Green's a good buy, and Simple Green is completely non-toxic, so it's safe even for the kids, and it won't hurt the environment.
Simple Green keeps your world clean.
You see, I like keeping things clean, but I also want my kids to live in a clean world.
Only one penalty through all of that. Boston defenseman Ken Hammond. As Marawelli had pretty good eyes to pick only one guy out of all of this mess.
Now watch Stevens. He knows Andy Moog's got it covered. He hits Hammond right there. Moog reacts, goes right to Stevens. Now watch all the Bruins come in. Now see if Stevens hits Hammond right there with the left hand. Flattened Hammond, but it's Ken Hammond who gets a penalty.
The Bruins fans unhappy, as you might imagine. Nobody not enthralled with the penalty to Hammond, but the Bruins are shorthanded. A 1-1 tie nearing the halfway mark of the first period. Icing against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh has made a couple of lineup changes tonight. Forward Randy Gillen and defenseman Randy Hilliard are not in uniform tonight. Taking their places, Paul Stanton, a rookie on defense, and Yuri Hrdina, ex of the Calgary Flames, who's in uniform tonight as a forward.
Bruins going with the same lineup. Why change a good thing? They've been on a roll. Ken Hodge Jr. says that he might be available if this should go to Game 7. I kind of doubt it. He's still got his arm in a sling. The Penguins' power play is 2 for 21 in their last 4 games. They have been having some problems.
Scott Young takes over for Pittsburgh and starts out with Stevens. By Poulin, pass to Recchi. Recchi threw it up across the Boston line. Murphy was on it, again stopping it at the blue line. Slides a pass ahead. Wesley covers his man Recchi. Murphy comes in to give a hand. And Moog steps out of the net to bat it into the corners. Poulin for Boston. Wesley standing there with him. Pass by Lazaro out to center ice. Murphy and Young. Across center. Lemieux knew he could not play it. At any rate, it's icing the call, so it'll come all the way back anyway.
Now Raymond Bourque, one of the nominees for the Norris Trophy. No surprise there. He would like to win it, obviously, and if he does, it would be his 4th. And only 2 players in hockey history have won the Norris Trophy more than 3 times. Doug Harvey was the first, and a young man named Robert Orr was the second, who happens to be at the game tonight. And so Raymond would be in rather select company should he be the winner of the Norris Trophy again this year.
You can see Lemieux standing by the blue line, and then Scott Young just fired that one from inside his own zone, scrambling around under the good forechecking of the Bruins penalty killers.
Neely has scored for Boston, Stevens for Pittsburgh. 1:06 left in the Boston penalty. Murphy and Phil Bourque. And it's Bourque passing up to Recchi. Through to Stevens. Good passing gets the Penguins in over the line. Rayborn for Boston. To Burridge. He can't get it out. Again, Burridge. Once again failing to move it outside the line. Recchi along the boards. 3 Penguins are there. Mario Lemieux, one of them. It's back of the goal again. Burridge lost a chance to move it out. It's Mario Lemieux. Near the line. The pass. Bork had to swing at it. Mario takes the shot. And Moog made the stick save. Andy Moog in the right position as Mario Lemieux one-timed it. Hammond has 20 seconds left in his penalty. Penguins on the power play, and it's Murphy up the line. He mishandled it. Now he slapped it along the boards. Into the corner, Francis trying to center it. Bob Sweeney there for Boston. Can't get it out. Now he does. And it bounces down inside the Pittsburgh line. Hammond is out of the penalty box. 1-1 the score. Wesley back and again. Icing against Pittsburgh.
Penguins during that power play had 1 shot on goal. A good chance for Mario Lemieux, but they had 3 icing calls on their own power play, and that's something that shows the team is confused breaking out of their own zone. Now watch Lemieux set up on the power play. It's a lot easier when you have the man advantage. Obviously the Bruins can't afford to put a shadow on him. Look at how much room he's got. The puck comes across, and there's the only good scoring chance the Penguins had, and Andy Moog made the save.
Neely on this face-off. It was he who scored the Boston goal on a power play for the Bruins at 5:23. Stevens tied it for Pittsburgh. Here's Loney from center. Mullen giving chase into the corner with Wesley of Boston. Francis trying to one-hand it out front. And Wesley around his own net. Long pass stopped by Samuelson. Wesley lost a chance to move it. Now the play is called, another high stick. And there's going to be another penalty. Pittsburgh again.
Ron Francis takes a high sticking penalty at 11:36. The Penguins on the rush. Francis tried to break through the defense, create an opening. Now here's Francis on the side, and a stick on Jim Weimer. Marginal call. We missed it up here. I thought it was he was defending himself, and then maybe as Weimer turned away, his stick might have caught him in the ear. But anyway, Francis is off for high sticking.
He's in for 2, and again the Bruins on the power play. They had 1 power play goal in the hockey game. They're scoring play. Man advantage by Neely. Wesley now scores! Wesley, and Barrasso didn't move.
A quick opener, if you will, on the power play. I had the feeling this puck hit something on the way in.
It hits the defenseman's stick. Now watch, I have to defend Tom Barrasso on this one. Here it comes across, and look at Taglianetti gets a stick on it as Wesley shoots it. It goes up and over Barrasso's glove. Now look at Taglianetti. Hits his stick up and over Tom Barrasso. And look at Wesley's reaction. There's no way a defenseman from that far out should get the stick in front of it. Let your goaltender handle it. Barrasso's been pretty good here in the first period. He would have handled that one, but Taglianetti tipped it up and over. And the Bruins get their second power play goal of the period.
2 power play goals. Now Wesley. 11:53 the time. Now that second one. 2-1 Boston. Yager deep in his own zone. Couldn't get the puck by Raybork at the blue line. Taglianetti on the other side. Lifted one high. And it's into the crowd at the far side. In behind the Pittsburgh bench. Boston leads now 2-1.
It's more than beautiful design and superb handling that have made Ford Taurus the standard by which other wagons are judged. It's every detail, right down to safety advances, like a standard driver's side airbag and available anti-lock brakes. You won't find either on an Accord wagon. You see, we believe that everything we put into Taurus wagon should demonstrate our concern for everything you'll put into Taurus wagon. For a limited time, get 8.9% financing on Canada's best-selling wagon.
Tom Barrasso victimized a long shot that was deflected by one of his own after the first game. As Frank Pietrangelo was the backup, Bob Johnson was complaining about the way his own players were assisting the Bruins. And there was a case right again, and they got involved in deflection time.
This is Jennings behind the net for Pittsburgh to Erie. Bork stopped him. Hoover flipped one into the corner. Taglianetti on it quickly. Hoover over there. Burridge couldn't stop it, and Erie gets up to the Boston line. Bruins have scored 2 power play goals. Have a 2-1 lead. Burridge forechecking. Taglianetti couldn't stop that. Shot in behind him. Duras flipped it back in. There's Janney getting the puck out front, and Barrasso covered again, but Burridge was there. Now Pittsburgh moving it. Bob Erie. Through center is Hrdina. Hrdina gets set. Tried to feed it back. Erie was upended in front of the goal. Got over the stick of Murphy. He recovered. Erie shoots it in. Now he's going off. And Neely for Boston. Rink wide pass. Don Sweeney moving up over the Pittsburgh line. Sweeney around Murphy easily. Now Murphy reached back and knocked the puck off his stick. Bill Bork ahead to Lemieux. He's stopped by Galley. And Bob Sweeney there again. Here's Neely. Quick move to get the puck ahead to Janney. Janney over the line. Dropped it back. And Mario Lemieux gets down that far side. Coming in. Can't get a shot. Now he shoots it. It looked like he lost it. And Moog stopped him again. Good rush by Lemieux, though. He had 2 Bruins to contend with before he got in near the net. 6 minutes left in the first period. Bob Sweeney turns around in his own zone for Boston. Now this is Hammond. Dropped to the center ice, and Janney flipped it to Neely. Neely faked the shot, trying to go around his man, Paul Stanton. Couldn't do it. Here's Stanton, 22, coming out. Recchi takes the pass. Up over the line, trying to flip it into Bork. Again, he tried to hit Phil Bork with a pass. The Bruins cover up in front of Andy Moog. Puck kept in, though. Moog stepping out. Wesley takes it behind the net. Waiting for Christian to come back. Now here's Christian for Poulin. And that slides away. Samuelson played it along the blue line. Stanton got it ahead. Stevens coming in there. Mullen winds up, drives one. Rebound. Hold the stick save. And the rebound is covered again by the Bruins defenders. Bork starting the Boston Bruins out again. Here's Bork. Drives one on a rolling puck. And it's cleared by Barrasso. 4:40 left in the period. 2-1 Boston. Bruins move in. Weaver stopped, knocked down. Fans wanted another penalty. Here's Burridge. And he just missed. And then he was flat. Nyland nailed Loney. Getting rough again. Chris Nyland spun around inside the line. Yager trying to get loose. Loney going around the net for Pittsburgh. Taglianetti comes in from the blue line. Bumped by Nyland. And Squeako got the puck ahead to Burridge. One man back. Burridge looks over his shoulder. Nobody with him. So he throws the puck into the Pittsburgh zone.
The difference being the Bruins, when they get control in their own zone, you know it's going out. The Penguins again have popped it up in their own zone.
Quick shot from that far side by Loney. Way wide. Loney trying to center it again. Can't. Don Sweeney covered him. Yager goes in to dig it out. Yager takes his time. Now he's pinned by Galley. Reaching for the puck and can't make it. Burridge it. Mario runs, scores! Mario Lemieux around the net and jammed it in to tie the game.
Boy, I'll tell you, there was no shadow on Mario, and when that puck was in the corner to Moog's left, he was totally alone, just standing there waiting. Now he gets into the play here.
Takes it away from Randy Burge. Now watch the second effort here. Moog slides it, gets a piece of it, but then Lemieux with that long reach is able to pick up the rebound and slide it back. Now look at Lemieux. Bob Sweeney's not on the ice. Burge stayed out there way too long. Now look at Lemieux. Brings it around, slides it. Moog gets a piece of the first one, and then Lemieux, using his long reach as only he can, slid it to the far side.
Troy Loney assisting on the goal by this man, Mario Lemieux, as only he can do it around the net, and fooled Andy Moog and tied the game at 16:34. So with 3:15 remaining in the opening period, all locked up again at 2 now. Neely bumping with Samuelson again. Bob Sweeney gets the puck across center. Moved up over the Pittsburgh line. Was jammed out of the play by Stanton. Neely going after Samuelson once again. That's 4 or 5 times already in this first period that they have collided. The stiffest hit, though, by Samuelson. Here's Ruzicka coming in. Stopped by Barrasso. He didn't see it at first. Was right there in his feet. And then he pounced on it. Good save by Barrasso.
Hey, you guys hear about Goodyear's big Grand Slam tire sale? 4 tires for the price of 3.
4 for the price of 3? Why didn't you tell me?
I did.
You did not.
I told you, but you
did
never
not
listened.
tell me about
you
this.
Don't
I never heard a word
I'd say. What?
Did you hear that? 4 tires for the price of 3?
Yep.
Deals like that don't come along every day.
Nope. Let me see here. 4, carry the 3. Wow, that's a good deal.
The Goodyear Grand Slam tire sale. 4 for the price of 3 on selected tires and many other great values.
Now to get to Goodyear, go down here, turn right. Now.
Jaromir Jagr also got an assist on the Lemieux goal at 16:34 to tie this first period. 2:40 remaining in it. Penguins shoot it to center. Borg stopped it. He backs up. He has Wesley as a defense partner. Borg, a pass a little bit too far for Poulin, but he races in. Good forechecker, got it out front. Poulin staying with it. Now Stevens comes back for Pittsburgh, but it's Borg shooting one toward the net, and Murphy dumped it ahead. Stevens moving up. A pass to Mullen. Back to Francis. Good passing play again, and Ray Borg fell in front of the shot. Here's Mullen centering one. Christian without a stick, clearing it away. Still in there, though. Stevens trying to backhand it into Mullen. And finally, they lift it high over the glass into the crowd behind the Boston bench.
To vote for their favorite heroes of today and yesteryear for induction into the Boston Garden Hall of Fame.
Dave Christian doing a good job without his stick in his own zone. The veteran, smart player, right to the front of the net, using his hands to bat that puck to the side and out of danger.
Favorite Boston Garden heroes, and maybe even win that special prize.
See how his family is into stick production. There's Dave Christian without one.
The Bruins hockey and New England sports. Ballots are available at the lower level concession area.
A minute and 56 left in the period. Francis, Stevens, and Mullen. The line on there for Pittsburgh. Roberts and Murphy. Face off to the left of Moog. 2-2. Sense that this crowd is still wondering if this Pittsburgh team is for real. Boston won the first game 6-3. Pittsburgh, though, we all know, highly explosive when it comes to scoring quickly. Stevens, a pass right onto Skriko's stick. Skriko trying to move up. Christian bumped on the boards. Poulin had Don Sweeney open in front of the net. Just failed to get it to him. Poulin fighting his way off the boards. Got it back. Galley's shot nowhere near the net. And Mullen brings it back out for the Penguins. Ahead to Stevens. He just missed it. And Moog again. Hangs on to it. Whistle had gone. He had dropped it. Tried to start Skriko away, but it had been called.
There's a minute 18 remaining in the playing of the first period, and in our first intermission, one of the Massachusetts area members of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Kevin Stevens, will be guesting with Chris Cuthbert. And there he is on the Penguins bench off that last shift.
I thought he was their best forward, probably their best player in game one, and again here in period one, Kevin Stevens has had their best chances, has one goal. Mario Lemieux has played a much more inspired first period than he did in the third period in game one. I thought in the third period in game one he looked very frustrated with the shadow and just stopped skating.
Could you say he was a shadow of his normal self?
Trottier, number 19 for Pittsburgh. Couldn't win the draw and get it back to the line, and the Bruins just shoot it away. That is Grant Jennings back to the net. Loney saw a hit coming from Ray Bork. Yager trying to move away from Lazaro was hauled down. 1 minute left of the opening period. 2-2's the score. And Neely nearly stole one on Jennings. Just barely hung on to it. Loney against Bork, and Bork wins that contest easily. Lifted the puck out into center ice. There goes Lazaro. He's pretty quick. Lazaro comes in, centered it, and Neely tied up in time by Jennings. Trottier got it ahead to Yager. Look out. Yager coming in. And Moog was down on that side. Yager with that big reach. Looked as if he had lost it, but somehow got it back under control. But he was in too far.
Good point, Bob, showing the puck handling ability of this 19-year-old. Oh, he's very clever. Lots of skills.
What skating abilities. Look at Bork try to pinch in. Tipped out by Troy Loney, and then a nice play by Brian Trottier. Look at Yager spin around. Not many guys could do that. Cut in, use his strength and reach. And there, even when it looks like he's lost it, he still gets a shot. It hits the side of the net.
Just 19. What a future. Great talent, and here's another one of the talents of Pittsburgh, of course, Mario Lemieux. He has scored for Pittsburgh here to tie the game at 16-34.
This is what Bob Johnson was complaining about. The Bruins had 6 guys on the ice. Lazaro takes his time going to the bench and gives Neely and Bork and his teammates time to rest.
From the draw, back to Samuelson, shot off the leg. Neely coming right at him and blocked it. Bruins trying to clear it. 15 seconds left in the period. Pittsburgh looking for a go-ahead goal here. Poulin on his knees, got back up. Mario Lemieux tied up back to the net. Samuelson coming in. He and Neely again hit hard. Here's Murphy's shot. And Moog just got a piece of that. Murphy at the blue line again, shot it in there, and a siren goes to end the first period.
Well, a certainly different type of period. And the tone was set early. Barrasso stopped Christian on a breakaway 30 seconds into it. Then Samuelson leveled Neely with a forearm smash 30 seconds after that. Then there was a fight a minute or so later. So Andy Moog and the Bruins in for a tougher time, it would appear, John, tonight.
Shots in the period were by Pittsburgh 11 and by Boston 10. And the scoring, Cam Neely, his 15th of the playoffs at 5:23. And then Stevens from Francis and Recchi at 5:36. Wesley, a deflected shot at 11:53, put the Bruins out front again. 2 power play goals for Boston. Mario Lemieux from Loney and Yager at 16:34 to tie it up again. Coming up, Kevin Stevens of the Pittsburgh Penguins will be in our studio to chat with Chris. The score at the end of the first period in Boston. The Bruins 2, the Penguins 2.
For Pierre Lassard, who stood number 38 in a line of 38. Canadian Airlines offers same-day return boarding passes, and we're the only airline in Canada that does.
My staff is very good.
No getting around it. Service is definitely a hands-on business. That is my job, to provide that personal touch.
I think our customers appreciate the good service we give them.
At Esso, we use independent customer surveys to set our high standards of service excellence.
Esso has standards, and I have standards. It's more than a job, really. It's a matter of pride. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Unlike any other courier in Canada, Federal Express has a computer system to track each and every package throughout the entire delivery. So say you send a package to Ottawa, and you get a little nervous about when it's going to get there. Well, you can just call Federal Express. They'll tell you where it is and when it should arrive right over the phone, which, of course, all means that if Federal Express delivered cows, they'd know when these guys are coming home.
You take enough risks during the day. Don't take a chance overnight.
For Ward Sinclair, who was told, you can't get there from here. Canadian Airlines, together with its partners, offers service to more places in Canada than any other airline.
Injuries can happen in many ways. Sometimes manufacturers build unsafe products. Often hazards can be found in areas we commonly use and expect to be safe. Occasionally, an error in medical treatment results in devastating personal and financial problems. There are many things which can threaten our safety, but the law is intended to protect your rights. I'm Greg Montfortin. At our law firm, we help people injured in accidents. There's no charge to talk with us about your claim. We'd like to help.
Greg Montfortin and Partners, on your side.
Good news, Canada. Now there's something fresh and instant that'll open your eyes to the world. Something that brightens, enlightens, and provides all the essentials you need.
This is the CBC Morning News Live.
Get the complete package. The CBC Morning News, first thing in the morning.
Cam Neely scores his 15th in as many playoff games. Mark Recchi extends his playoff point streak to 10 games. It's 2-2 in Game 2 after 20 minutes of play here in Boston. One of the 2 goals by the Penguins was scored by Kevin Stevens, who starts the play by running into Andy Moog, and the stick breaks with that contact. Moog calls for a new stick, but Kevin Stevens doesn't let him get it because he scores the goal to tie the game 13 seconds after Neely had put the Bruins ahead 1-0. Kevin Stevens joins us. You were going at Andy Moog and going to the net throughout that first period.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Everybody was talking about how we have to get in front of him and maybe force him. He went out of the net a little bit, and I thought I had a step on him. I could grab him and hold him up a little from going to the net. And we were lucky enough. I grabbed him. I guess his stick broke. I didn't grab his stick that hard. He must have tried to pull away, and it snapped, and we were lucky enough to get a goal there.
What was the game plan going into Game 2, and how did it differ from Game 1?
Well, the turnovers in the first game really killed us. I thought we played pretty solid all the way around the game, except for a defenseman. And our forwards weren't really coming back together and making the plays, and we coughed the puck up a couple of times and they scored goals. So right now we're just trying to get the puck out of our end as fast as we can and move up ice. And normally we want to get in front of Moog and cause him some traffic, try to get him off his game. He's playing so well. So that's our game plan tonight. And right now, it's a 2-2 game after one period.
There's a great Boston story here. So many of the Penguins are from the area, and you went to Boston College. You're from Brockton, Massachusetts. Can it be a distraction at times, though, to have so many guys playing so close to home?
Yeah, that's a big question. Is it a distraction having your family and friends from here? But I don't think it is. At this point of the year, we made it this far. I played 80 games, 2 rounds of playoffs, and to go another month without seeing your friends or going out and whatever and having fun is something that you really enjoy right now, because I'm here to win hockey games. I have a ton of friends here, and I'm just here to do the job, and I want to win hockey games. I can see them next month.
Boy, you've done the job this year, too. 40 goals during the regular season. You've become one of the stars in this league. At what point did you feel like you were one of the stars in the National Hockey League?
Well, I don't know. I just try to work hard every night. A lot of people might consider me a star, but I'm just going out there trying to do the job, to score the goals and make my team win. The thing I want to do is our team to win. I'm here for 25 guys in the locker room over there, and we're here to win, and if I can help my team win and work hard and score goals, then that's great.
Well, good luck in that quest.
Thank you very much.
Kevin Stevens, who scored his 9th in period number 1. It's 2-2 after one period of play. Coming up next, we'll update Campbell Conference action. Our first intermission continues after this.
Well, you have to give better service in a small town, we feel, because it is, you're dealing with the same people over and over again. We try to maintain the best possible prices, most competitive prices at all times. Basically, if they want it the next day, we can deliver the next day. Sometimes we can deliver the same day. We give free delivery anywhere in Kent and Essex County. Setup's always free. We carry pretty well all the brand names you'll find anywhere in the county or the city. We'll gladly give them pricing over the phone, and you can call 1-800-567-5786.
Guardian pharmacist Mary Klein Kramer.
Them a medicine spoon and say, now that's your own spoon. You hold on to that.
And your mother's got to look after the medicine, and you remind mother that you have to have your medicine every time you have a meal. I can often tell the mothers, try doing it this way. You might find that the child will accept the medication more easily and therefore get the dose in rather than miss it altogether.
Get to know your guardian pharmacist.
These managers made an important investment in their company. They had to maintain their edge in a very competitive marketplace. They invested in something indispensable to take advantage of the new technology driving the economy of Canada and the world.
Nice to have you back.
The investment? Ongoing training for their employees. Training, the indispensable tool.
Hi, give me a light. No, a lighting boutique light. Thanks.
Hi, may I have a light, please? A lighting boutique? Thank you.
Light, please. Lighting boutique light.
Doesn't anybody drink anymore?
Not with fixtures like those. Kids?
For a dazzling array of fixtures, it's Ray Patau's Lighting Boutique, 4072 Walker Road, Windsor.
Right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. You got the right thing. You got the right one. Everybody. Oh, Diet Pepsi. Baby, you got the right one. There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
Sports Weekend. Golf, the Memorial from Dublin, Ohio. And the best are there on Jack's own tough course. The Memorial on CBC Sports Weekend starting Saturday, May 18th.
Couple of power play goals for the Bruins in that first period. Mario Lemieux scores his first goal of the series, and Vladimir Ruzicka, with 2 assists, now has 5 in the 2 games so far in this Wales Conference Championship. Ruzicka, a former Oiler, and the Oilers in action in the Campbell Conference final last night against the surprising Minnesota North Stars, although maybe they're not so surprising anymore. For the 3rd straight round, the North Stars open with a win away from home. They were down 1-0 early last night at the Northlands Coliseum, but Neil Broughton got them back on even terms before the first period was over on a pass from Ulf Dahlen, who had a pair of assists in the game. Then in the second period, it's Broughton who starts the play on the power play. Dave Gagne finishes it. That gave the North Stars a 2-1 lead, and they go on to a 3-1 victory. They are for real in the Campbell Conference Championship. A big reason for that is the play of John Casey, who leads the way in wins along with Andy Moog in the playoffs with 9. Casey has the best goals against average, and the Stars now are 3 for 3 in opening game victories. They end a decade of frustration in Edmonton. And look at the Oilers, just 4 goals in the 4 games this year against the Minnesota North Stars. Game 2 of the Campbell Conference Championship will go Saturday. It's an 8 o'clock Eastern start, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And here at the Boston Garden, after 20 minutes, we're tied at 2. Here's the game within a game. Check out Ray Bourque's playing time in the first period, 13 minutes, 11 seconds. Mario had a goal in his 8 minutes and 18 seconds. Giveaways were a big part of Game 1. The Penguins were guilty on many occasions, but just 4 apiece in the first period of tonight's game. So the score after 1 period of play here at the Boston Garden, the Pittsburgh Penguins 2 and the Boston Bruins 2.
Board of Canada presents another page from the book of hockey's greatest playoff achievements. Tonight, Brant Fuhr, a man who was often the difference as the Edmonton Oilers forged a dynasty.
Regrettably, many will never experience the thrill of driving this totally redesigned world-class sedan. Oh, it's not that they can't afford it. It's just that they never expected to find it here. The all-new, totally redesigned Escort LX. Were you expecting something else? Now with 8.9% financing, it's an experience you can't afford to miss.
Brant Fuhr has been a focused performer in almost every important hockey series the past decade. He's been a member of Team Canada in 2 Canada Cups, a member of the NHL club at Rendezvous 87, a 2-time All-Star, but without doubt his most memorable moments have been at playoff time. 4 times, Grant has participated in 16 or more playoff games. His career average is just a notch above 3. In '88, he tied the NHL record with 16 wins. His durability matched only by his pure ability.
You're watching Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
We all like to keep our car looking new. That's why so many people use Armor All Protectant. Armor All cleans and shines the rubber, plastic, and vinyl. And it protects all those surfaces too. So Armor All makes your car look like new and helps it last longer. And that makes you look pretty smart. Armor All. It keeps you looking good.
Just like an old friend, you can count on and trust. It's like smoking on the sunshine, right over the rust. Treat it to trim clad. Give it some TSC.
More people paint and protect more things with Tremclad than with all other rust paints combined.
Give it that TSC.
According to recent surveys, 72% of Canadians are satisfied with their jobs. 93% think Canada is the best country in the world. Yet 57% think today's problems are so complicated, it's difficult to know what to do. But if Canadians surveyed who use Xerox copiers, a remarkable 97% are satisfied overall, just 3% away from total customer satisfaction. And at Team Xerox, we won't be satisfied until you are. Faxing, scanning, copying, printing. Xerox, the document company.
More Canadians keep the romance going with help from Motomaster and Canadian Tire. Canada's #1 selling replacement parts. Motomaster motor oils are all formulated to exceed the quality requirements in your new car warranty. But that doesn't mean this page can't be used for something else. Motomaster, Canada's #1 selling motor oil.
For Pierre Lassard, who stood number 38 in the line 38. Canadian Airlines offers same-day return boarding passes, and we're the only airline in Canada that does.
This portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC has been brought to you by Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment. Quality is job one.
And we are back in Boston. The teams are tied 2-2, and we're going to take a little trip, no, not down the river, but down memory lane and go back 18 years ago tonight, May 3rd, 1973, when the Chicago Blackhawks played Montreal in the finals. There was Bill White scoring and Ken Dryden, and right after that, Stan Mikita scored. What's unusual about this? They tied an NHL record, 2 shorthanded goals on the same penalty. And the Blackhawks went on to win the game, but the Canadians won the Stanley Cup in 6 games. May 3rd, 1973, 18 years ago this evening.
Mario Lemieux had 3 shots on goal in that first period and had 3 in the entire game 1. Bob Sweeney wasn't out against Lemieux when Lemieux scored, but look at in the last minute of the period, there's Sweeney out against Lemieux, and Lemieux still sets up a good scoring chance in front of Andy Moog.
All right, let me ask you this, John. We're watching the shadowing of Mario Lemieux, and here it continues. Why doesn't somebody do the same number on Cam Neely? The guy's got 15 goals in the playoffs.
I think they're more worried about Craig Janney setting up Neely, and if they can shut Janney down, then Neely won't get the puck, and they won't take away from their own offense. And you have to remember that the Penguins are a strong offensive team, and all of their lines have the potential of scoring goals.
Well, the second period is coming up, and we're tied at 2. Neely and Wesley, power play goals for Boston in the first. Stevens and Lemieux for Pittsburgh. Shots were 11-10 in favor of the Penguins. And here we go for the second period. Janney and Francis. Pittsburgh controlling on the draw. Roberts dumped it ahead. Francis overskated the puck. Roberts again near center ice to Murphy. He missed it. Ruzicka is on the puck and moving in. He eludes a hit at the line. Roberts missed him. Janney carrying it. Neely just missed it. Sweeney's shot is blocked. Ruzicka, Neely again, and he just missed hanging on to that in the slot area. Bourque slapped one in. Janney comes up with it. Janney back to Bourque. Scores! Bourque for Boston.
Ray Bourque jumps up into the play. He played more than 13 minutes in the first period. Look at this nice pass by Craig Janney to Bourque. Through everybody's legs. There's Larry Murphy right in front of Tom Barrasso. The shot went through Murphy's legs, and then Barrasso got a piece of it, but not enough. The captain jumps up into the play to create offensive chances, and there it pays off.
Johnson was very upset. The minute the goal went in, he was very, very animated in his complaints about the way his team played it.
Ruzicka and Janney assisted on the Bourque goal. At just 38 seconds of the second period, and now it's 3-2 Boston. They're in the lead again. Phil Bourque for the Penguins coming out. Recchi got it back to him. He's in alone. Bourque, and he failed to get the backhander away on Andy Moog. Great chance for Pittsburgh to tie it. Phil Bourque all alone. Made the right move, but then missed lifting the puck on the backhand. Burridge just nailed by Bourque and spun around. Puck is flipped in toward the net. Alley gets it out to Burridge. Stanton reaching up to poke check the puck away, and it is called on the offside at the Boston line. The scoring play again at only 38 seconds of the second period. Bourque sixth from Janney and Ruzicka.
Phil Bourque had a chance here a minute ago. Shoot the puck, Phil.
Phil goes in, but watch Glenn Wesley come back and give Phil Bourque a whack. And Bourque, when he went to pull it, lost control of the puck. Now watch Wesley's stick come in and hook Phil Bourque right there. Hooks his hands. And Bourque can't make the move to his backhand.
3-2 Boston, second period. Bourque and Weimer. Weimer's pass out of the reach of Poulin. Bourque again. Can't stop the Penguins this time. Yager went after it. Slapped away from him. Up is Poulin. Dave Poulin with Christian on his right, Streako on the left side. The three of them along the boards now. Yager all the way back, deep in his own zone. Stick handles out, makes the play, and now skates across center with it. Another good play by Yager. A pass in front by Yager. Yager again tried to center it. And Pittsburgh come very closer, and again, Moog trying to stop that pass out. A penalty coming up. Penalty being called. Pittsburgh forcing the issue now in front of Andy Moog. A Boston penalty. We'll be right back after this message.
Thank you, Windsor and Essex County, for making us the #1 volume car dealer in the Great Lakes region. Now let me introduce our #1 award winners. Bill and Ken Enser, Peak Performance Sales Managers. Glenn McFarland, Peak Performance Service Manager. Larry Brushett, Peak Performance Parts Manager. Ann Holmes and Tom Leckie, Summit Award winners. Mo Campbell, Lincoln Mercury, your #1 award-winning dealership. We earn these awards satisfying you, the customer.
Tim Weimer's in Boston playing for his 5th NHL team. He'll spend the next couple of minutes, or maybe less, in the penalty box, interfering with Jaromir Jagr right here at the side of the net. Down he goes. The call is made there at the top of your screen by Maroelli, and Pittsburgh goes on the power play.
Francis and Poulin square off in the big circle to the right of Andy Moog. It's 3-2 Boston. Nearing the 3-minute mark of the second period. Dave Poulin on it. Yager stripped the puck away from him, but Poulin gets another chance, and he shoots it through the two-point man all the way down the ice. Murphy and Phil Bourque with Francis, Mullen, and Mario Lemieux. Pittsburgh get it in, and just as quickly, Dave Poulin rattles it back out. Murphy against Lazaro, and Phil Bourque comes back. Bruins penalty killers, Poulin and Lazaro, Bourque and Wesley. Penguins shoot it in. That was Mullen shooting it in and falling. It slapped off his stick down the ice. Out of the net is Barrasso. He saw Dave Poulin coming close. Now Lazaro slapped one toward the empty net. Barrasso was back, so was Murphy. The puck goes flying high near the Pittsburgh bench. And with 1:07 left on the power play, they've stopped the play.
The Penguins power play really has problems getting the blue line and getting organized. Look at Scotty Bowman and Craig Patrick sitting up above for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Scotty Bowman going to the Hall of Fame this summer. Our congratulations to Scott.
Well, he made it because of the last item there.
That's right. We were campaigning for him for 3 seasons. That's why he's going in this summer. The Penguins power play, it's hard to believe that they have trouble gaining the zone with all the offensive talent they have. How a Mario Lemieux or a Ron Francis can't just carry it, get the blue line, and give themselves some time to get set up.
Barrasso being careful with this one off the boards. Some tricky hops off the boards here in Boston. They nearly hit Mario Lemieux. He has the puck and took a shot. Moog covering on the short side. Andy was very quick to get back in position. And a good thing because Mario Lemieux was right on it. Murphy, Stevens trying to split the defense right in front, and he just missed cashing in on that pass. And the net comes flying off the magnets as Stevens was upended.
Penguins power play on the rush. When Mario Lemieux cuts across the blue line, it opens up some room for Stevens and Recchi. Now watch Stevens and Recchi work this 2-on-1. Stevens goes to the net, and look at Recchi try and hit him with the pass, and Stevens thought he was interfered with. He gets up and complains to referee Dan Mariuelli, but the pass was in the air, and it was a pretty tough play for Stevens to tip it by Andy Moog.
31 seconds left on the penalty to Weimer of Boston. The Bruins lead 3-2. Recchi won the draw for Murphy. Mario Lemieux shot, blasted that wide. Lazaro shoots it down the ice. Barrasso stopping it with 20 seconds left on the penalty clock. Here's Murphy coming up, hitting the line and playing it off to the left to Recchi. Into Mario Lemieux. It's out near the line. It was onside. He didn't know it. He turned back out with it. Scott Young did. Here's Recchi's shot. Oh, saving that one on the short side. Murphy can't stop it. Lazaro racing away, and Weimer is out of the penalty box. Lazaro nearly knocked it down as Barrasso went along the boards with the clearing shot. Recchi in for Erie. Over his stick. Ruzicka missed a chance to move it. Samuelson knocked it in. Crowd hollering with the change over there. A lot of black and gold sweaters on the ice, but the play goes right on. Lazaro up to Ruzicka. Yager nearly got in. He's in there now. The pass to him, and Moog stopped him. Andy Moog coming up with a save on Yager again. Didn't quite have control of it. Now Moog will step out of the net to make sure Yager doesn't get near it. Now he hit Yager with it. And the Bruins clear it anyway. Neely and Janney. Neely's shot deflected high on the glass to the left of Tom Barrasso. Penguins shoot it down the ice.
There again, the Penguin defenseman Samuelson tipping that shot from Neely from way out, a bad angle. Tom Barrasso would have stopped that one for sure.
Ruzicka moving up with Janney. Janney gets in there with Neely. Neely trying to get loose. Neely able to make the play, and here's a break for Yager. End of a long shift, and he couldn't beat Wesley to the puck. tired. He's going off. Pittsburgh on the puck. A long shot missing the far post as Taglianetti let it fly. Right into Barrasso. Jennings around the net for Mullen. Tipped down the ice. And as Bork picks it up, it's an icing call against Pittsburgh. 7:05 gone in the second.
3M salutes the Olympic athletes who found a better way. Whose ideas were so original, there's no going back. That same innovative thinking led us to invent Scotchgard brand protector, and things have looked newer longer ever since. 3M, innovation working for you.
Sandy Moog again, this time John faced with a Czechoslovakian connection. Hrdina and Jágr almost clicking.
Jágr gets in so close. Nice little touch pass by Yuri Hrdina, but look at how close Jágr is. By the time he gets control of it, he's almost in the crease, and he just can't pull it by Andy Moog.
Poulin, Christian, and Skriko for Boston. Skriko giving chase to Taglianetti. Played up to center by Loney. He got in over the line, but it was offside at the Boston blue line. 2 players ahead of him.
Yeah, there's the protective collar around the neck of Joey Mullen, who had the surgery in February. And everyone said, see you next year, Joe. And he was here for them to say hello, Joe, in the playoffs.
If the Calgary Flames could have used Joey Mullen in their series against the Edmonton Oilers this year.
Mullen trapped the puck on the boards, kept it in for the Penguins, but now Skriko sees it. Out to Christian. Bork up on the play. The shot hit the stick of Jennings. Weimer moving up. Left it for Christian. He centered it. Here's a shot. Barrasso got a piece of it. Skriko from a far angle. And Barrasso just got a piece of it, and it bounced down to him. Bork shoots it off the boards down the ice. This will be an icing call against Boston with 13 minutes and 8 seconds left in the second period. 3-2 Bruins.
I like your company. Such a comfortable place to be. I like your company. You always make me feel like me. I like your company.
New from GWG, the Great Western Garment Company jeans.
I like your company.
Ken Hodge Jr., the injured Bruin, watching in civvies, one of the 3 players who made it to the final round, if you will, of the Calder Trophy, voting as Rookie of the Year.
30 goals in 70 games for Hodge, looking forward to the playoffs, and then injured in that 7th game against the Canadiens. Still has his arm in the sling.
Hopes to get back if there's a 5th or 6th game. Face off to the right of Moog. Recchi against Burridge of Boston. A little anxious. Recchi slow lining up. And it's Poulin jumping on the puck right away. Going down on Stanton. He has some speed. Going in and rolled it into the netminder. And Barrasso just down on his knees, covered up and held onto it.
Quick change, John, in the position of the face-off from one end to the other on Poulin's rush, but it was set up with Sweeney on Lemieux, who could not get the pass back. I think he's trying to get it back to the point, and Poulin picked it off.
Watch Stanton take half a step inside. Here Poulin goes to the outside, and Stanton took half a step inside. Poulin thought he had room to cut in, but Stanton recovered very well, cut him off, and rode him into the boards.
.7:02 gone in the second period. The Bruins, with an early goal, lead 3-2. This is Bob Sweeney circling in front of the Boston net. Burridge has to one-hand the puck over on the boards. Joris is stopped. Couldn't move in along the line. And Recchi comes back in for Pittsburgh. Made the move at the blue line, and they are offside.
Well, Yuri Hrdina from Calgary earlier in the season, joining the Penguins kind of as a father figure, if you will, to young Jágr, who welcomed the addition, and somebody talked to in his native tongue.
And now we welcome you people from Ontario and Quebec to the Boston Garden. 12:31 remaining in the second period to the Bruins, with an early goal here in the second, have taken a 3-2 lead. Neely and Wesley scored in the first on Boston power plays. Stevens and Lemieux for Pittsburgh. Bourque at 38 seconds of the second period, and it's 3-2 Boston. Hope you enjoyed Dallas. Now, welcome to the Stanley Cup, Wales Conference Final. On the network, we remind the technical people the next commercial position is number 18. We have 12:18 left in the second period. And a 3-2 Boston lead.
Well, the coaches Mike Milbury and Bob Johnson have got their teams revved up a little bit tonight. This has been a much more intense and physical game than was the case 2 nights ago in the series opener. It started on a high note. Tom Barrasso stopped Dave Christian on a clear breakaway 30 seconds into the game. Neely was clobbered with a forearm check by Samuelson. Chris Nyland got into a fight. That was all in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Hammond jumps up over center ice and golfed it into the corner. Here's Wesley trying to stop when he can. Jágr knocked it to center. Hrdina played it in for Erie. No room. He cut in with a sharp angled shot and went high. Mazzaro failed to move it out on Murphy. Here's Erie again trying to squeeze in. Knocked down by Wesley. Jágr gets in with a shot, and Moog got back somehow. Pittsburgh pressing a high backhander. Moog didn't see it. It missed. Murphy slapped it from the blue line. Here is Jágr again. Near the line, he boots it ahead and goes after it. He was knocked down. Here he takes his shot. Moog stopped it and hangs on to it. Jágr coming after Wesley as the Boston defenseman charged in there when Moog went down to smother it. So they got them all apart. We've had a lot of this in this hockey game tonight. The gathering as such.
Erie, Jágr, and Hrdina against the Bruins' fourth line. And here's Erie, throws it out on his backhand to Jágr off Andy Moog. But look at Andy Moog, stays on his feet, goes right across, square to Jágr, makes the first save, good position for the rebound. And it goes high and wide.
One thing about Andy, he's very tight with those angles. You're right, John. He's on his feet most of the time and cuts everybody off on the outside.
Sweeney not out here. Milbury wasn't allowed to put him out on a late change. On the ice, the few times that they've been able to get him away from Sweeney. The face-off now in the Boston zone.
Recchi won it. Shot by Samuelson, deflected wide. Stanton moved up. Oh, got a piece of it. Pittsburgh continued to press the Boston Bruins. At the line, Stanton again faked the shot, stepped in around Nyland, put it in front of the net, and Moog is down to hang on to it. Moog to the rescue again for the Boston Bruins.
And again, after the whistle, the Penguins crashing the net, getting in to bother Andy Moog. We had an incident in the first period where Kevin Stevens went in and created a couple of roughing penalties, crashing into Andy Moog after a whistle. And there Mark Recchi was trying to lay on top of the Boston goaltender. Here's the shot from Stanton, the original shot, and look at Andy Moog stretch out, gets a glove on it, and look at Mark Recchi trying to dig it out with his hands.
Please.
Here, I'm going to throw it in, Andy.
He smiled. I don't know if Andy was laughing at him under the mask. He said something or not. But now that whistle, and it gives Milbury a chance to get Sweeney on the ice.
Chris Nyland going to the Boston bench. He was on, stirring it up again, fulfilling his role to the letter. From the draw, hard shot from the line by Stanton, missed. Pittsburgh continue to keep the pressure on. Out front it comes. Right through the crease, that pass comes out over the line. Bruins in possession, so the play continues. Don Sweeney and Bourque get together. And it's Bourque coming up with a shot. Very quick shot, but Barrasso handled it. Neely nearly knocked it down. Recchi missed it with his glove. And Sweeney played it ahead to Janney again. Intended that pass for Neely, but it was cut off by Taglianetti. Bourque behind the net. There's a penalty coming up. Bob Sweeney of the Boston Bruins has been hurt.
They're checking Sweeney to see if he's cut here. Mario might get 5. No, he's only got 2 for high sticking. Now watch the reaction here. Lemieux, Sweeney goes over, gets the butt end of the stick out on Lemieux, and then Lemieux with the high stick retaliates. And as so often happens, it's a retaliation penalty that's called.
It's a minor penalty. High sticking to Mario Lemieux.
Right now, Mazda has air to spare, free air or equivalent credit on 323 and Protege, the sporty MX-6, the stylish 626 SE, Canada's #1 selling import pickup, and the award-winning MPV. Free air from Mazda. Don't sweat it, get it, don't sweat it, it just feels.
A 2-minute high sticking penalty against Mario Lemieux, a retaliation penalty, but watch Bob Sweeney, the end of his stick, right here. Look at the butt end of his stick. Now he's going to hold Lemieux up with that. And then Lemieux retaliates right there with the high stick and the glove.
Boston, 2 power play goals in the first period tonight. One by Neely and one by Wesley. And they're coming out now. Both on the ice on this power play. Wesley carries it in, and Neely just missed cashing in. Breaking out to center ice, Kevin Stevens, and Bourque goes in. Bourque turns with Hrdina. Janney now backs up. Wesley, Neely, Bourque, Ruzicka, and Janney for Boston. 1:15 left in the penalty to Pittsburgh. Janney on his skate with it. Took a bump, kept going, gave it to Ruzicka. He tried to hit the puck into Neely. Taglianetti takes over. Shoots a high one over the glass. That will bring about a face-off in the Pittsburgh zone.
Much traveled Peter Taglianetti found a home in Pittsburgh this season. A +16 in only 39 games with the Penguins. When they needed some defensive help, Taglianetti really filled the bill.
We mentioned that Bobby Orr was here tonight earlier in the show. Also another Bruin all-star from the past. Fleming McKell is in attendance as well tonight. A lot of Bruin old-timers. They have a room here. Bernie Flaman and Kenny Smith and others have been at these games throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You mentioned Bobby. Dick had a chat with him before the game, and he asked me to say hello to Doug and Arva up in Ontario. Harry Sound. They get a kick out of that. Too bad he can't suit it up here tonight. We'd all get a kick all over it again. We've seen a few of those, haven't we? He looks great. Mom and Dad.
Looks in great shape. Could help the Bruins power play, although it's 2 for 3 tonight, and it has made a difference. The Penguins power play has looked awful.
Wesley headbands the puck for Neely. Bourque slapped one from the blue line. Barrasso going against the flow, and Bourque stopped it. Trache couldn't move on it. Stanton trying to fight off Neely. Not an easy task. Neely in there, bounced it loose. Ruzicka got it back. Here's Bork now. Gave it back to Wesley. Takes the shot. It was deflected and just missed. 12 seconds left on the power play, and Wesley again. Lost it. Here he comes to center with Trottier. Mario Lemieux now out of the penalty box. Penalty is over. Wesley moving away from him. Gets to center for Poulin. He didn't see the pass. Turning. It is Francis coming in. Now Lemieux to Francis. A high pass. He couldn't contact it in front of the net. Just about a foot off the ice. Couldn't knock it down. Murphy slipped it into Francis with Mario Lemieux centering it again. And Mullen didn't get a good shot away. Murphy stopped it. Backhands it toward the net, and Moog looked around and then dropped it for Bork. Ray Bork trying to get away from Mario Lemieux, did not do it. Poulin backhands the puck down the ice. 8 minutes left in the second period. Boston leading 3-2. Off the stick of Francis from the Stevens pass. It's in the penalty box over the boards. And the play called. Boston with that 1-goal lead on the Bork goal at 38 seconds of the second period.
MC Hammer, rap star and Pepsi drinker. Well, today, we secretly replaced his Pepsi with Coke. Let's see what happens.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
Hammer!
Proper.
Ron Francis enjoying his role as the second center of the Pittsburgh Penguins instead of a star like he was in Hartford. Now watch his hit here on Cam Neely, showing his strength. And then getting the stick up on Neely right in front of the Pittsburgh bench.
Bruins get the puck out. Christian nearly got by Samuelson. The big defenseman shot it back into the Boston zone. Again, it's off his stick into the crowd as Galley tried to clear it.
Craig Janney's been shaken up a little bit. I don't know if he's trying to walk it off. He's been standing in that area in the alleyway near the Bruins bench for the last couple of minutes. And now he makes his way back to the Boston bench.
Don Sweeney flipped it ahead, a little too far for Poulin, but he's giving it a good run. Samuelson reached out for the stick and rolled it up on the boards. Squeako comes in for Boston to help. Stanton saw the loose puck. Squeako saw him go for it. Dropped it. Centered it. Christian was there. Just failed to get a shot. Stevens back down the ice. To Mario Lemieux, played in front of the net. Recchi went after it with a skate. In for Mario Lemieux around the goal. Centered it right through the crease. Christian didn't get it out, but Don Sweeney did. He races away. Poulin now closing in. Another chance for Poulin, and Mario Lemieux couldn't clear it. Knocked down in front. Christian had it hop over his stick. Long pass. Going all the way down the ice. Moog will play it. 6:35 left to play in the second period. The Bruins lead 3-2. Recchi took the pass near center and dropped it back. Played back down the ice by Taglianetti and into the zone by Recchi. Taglianetti moves up. The two Bruins get away. A pass to center. Christian going in, and he missed with a low shot. Right in front again. Lazzaro's backhander is wide. Christian once more for Lazzaro back of the net. Trottier comes back to bring it out. Coming up to center, Jennings. Lost it against Weimer, and Weimer's pass for Duras. He'll have to hustle. Bob Sweeney in front with Lazzaro. Hustle he did, but he couldn't get the puck back out. Bruins knock it down at the line. Duras on the boards. He's hemmed in. Yager comes away for Pittsburgh. Up over the line, poked off his stick by Weimer. Lazzaro hopped on it. Tried to pass it to the other side and hit a skate.
Crowd was hollering because the Penguins again had too many men on the ice as the defensemen started to change. Cody Roberts was halfway out, and then we're headed back to the box.
Here's Yager, stick handling in. A shot from the line, right in front, Moog. It went in the net, but the net was off the Magnets. And there's going to be a face-off in the Boston zone.
Yeah, then I'd bring you back to the last minute of play. Game 7 of Montreal, the net off, the puck over the line. But in this case, as opposed to the other night when Andy had knocked it off by himself, there was really no hesitation on his part to wave it off. 5:10 left in the second period. Bob Johnson and the Penguins trailing 3-2.
What is the image of a rebel? These are the images of a rebel. Canon's revolutionary autofocus EOS Rebel. So easy to use, you can stop taking snapshots and start taking photographs.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Phil Bourque was complaining, saying that this puck was going in anyway. Now look at this long pass to Bourque. Does he kick it towards the net right there with his foot anyway? Kicks it towards his stick. It hits Andy Moog and slides across the line. It definitely went between where the pipes should have been, but the net was off and it's disallowed.
5:10 left of the period. Francis moving up on the face-off against Dave Poulin of Boston. Phil Bourque parked to the left. Mullen right behind him. The Bruins win the face-off. And Wesley. He has Hammond as the defense partner. Mishandled the puck in front of Andy Moog. So he'll start all over it again. This time gives it to Poulin. And it's dropped back to him right in front of Moog again. And Mullen was in there dangerously close. Here's Janney coming across center with Neely on his right. And Neely was in offside. Stopping the play at the Pittsburgh line with 4:45 left in the second.
Happy Motoring Canada. At Esso, we have a tradition of excellent service. We try hard to get you on your way. Today, you can even serve yourself. And at Esso, we're still here to help. We do little things like make sure the pump is ready when you are, keeping paper towels, clean water, and squeegees on hand, and even a warm smile to help you on your way. Full serve or self-serve. At Esso, good service stands the test of time. With Esso.
Mike Milbury discussing things with Craig Janney. There's Andy Moog in the last play by Phil Bourque. Now watch Phil Bourque. He kicks it towards his stick right there with his right foot. But he doesn't get a stick on it. It hits Moog. It hits Moog's right leg and then comes across the line, but the post is off before it goes across the line.
So just a little over 4 minutes left of the period. Pittsburgh have been pressing though in this second period. Bourque got the goal early at 38 seconds, but the Penguins have had numerous chances to tie it. Still a 1-goal lead. Here's a pass up front, a wraparound attempt by Mullen. And Moog covered this time. Mario Lemieux came around on the other end on a wraparound in the first period. Mullen tried it this time and failed.
My compliments to the camera crew, that last slow motion of the dislodged post. That was a great shot. Well, I tell you, as time goes on, Bob Johnson, one of his statements after the game the other night was, we've got to break the Andy Moog barrier. And Andy's throwing up the barrier again in this one as they lead by 1.
Now look at Mullen. Can't use his reach because he doesn't have a reach. And Andy Moog's got that Curtis Curve Christian stick flat on the ice, making the save. Mario Lemieux pulled it way out in left field and took it wide and slid it to the far side. Mullen had to slide it right on Andy Moog.
Number 66 is on there now for Pittsburgh with Recchi and Stevens. Poulin for Boston. Neely and Bob Sweeney. Puck caught by Stanton at the blue line and down the ice. Samuelson on with him. Pass up across center. Stevens striding in hard. Janney took it away from him. There goes Recchi bumping with Janney. Don Sweeney's long pass down the ice. Icing waved off. Samuelson has to hurry back with Neely coming in. Stevens again near center to Recchi. Recchi and Lemieux at the line. It's shot in from the blue line. And Moog turned it aside. It's intercepted. Recchi got in front, passed it off. Mario Lemieux is tied up, and there's going to be a penalty against the Bruins. Lemieux's stick was grabbed. He couldn't move on the pass to pick it up for that reason. And it's a penalty to Boston's Cam Neely.
Well, Neely had given the puck away, and that upset him, and then he hung on and draws the penalty, 2 for the hold, it would appear, on Mario.
Here's Mario Lemieux in front of the net, and there's Neely holding on to Lemieux's stick as the puck comes right across. It was Neely's giveaway, as you said, Dick. Now watch Cam Neely just turn in the corner and fired up the middle, and it's picked off. The Bruins fortunately recovered in time, and look at Neely goes right to Lemieux, holds his stick, and takes a holding penalty.
16:20, the time of the penalty. Pittsburgh continue to press. They're trailing 3-2, and now have a power play out there. Recchi, Stevens, Lemieux, Murphy at the line, along with Scott Young, Poulin, and Lazaro. The penalty killers for Boston. Ray Bork, and here's Wesley, sending the Penguins back. Murphy is coming back, so is Recchi. Takes the puck and brings it out. Skates to the line, hands it off now as he hits center ice. Ray Bork was there, and Lazaro was going to clear it. Again, all the way down the ice. 1:35 left on the power play. Pittsburgh unable to get anything going so far. His pass hops away. Wesley is back, and that's icing against Pittsburgh.
One of the power plays the Penguins had in the first period, they had 3 icing calls against. And here we are, we're only 35 seconds into this power play. Another icing call against the Penguins, and look at the frustration on the face of Bob Johnson, trying to get his special team to click. The Bruins have 2 power play goals. This is the 4th opportunity for the Penguins with the man advantage, and they just haven't been able to get control in the Bruins zone.
I think what's frustrating Johnson as well, the Bruins scored in their first shot of the period at 38 seconds. They've had only 3 shots since then, so they haven't mounted any offense at all in this period, yet his team hasn't been able to do much about it.
Phil Bork takes it around the net and starts up on this power play rush to Murphy. Far side, Recchi. Stevens in front of the net. Ray Bork took care of him. Recchi trying to get it off the boards. He kicked it right to Ray Bork. Hustling forward is Murphy up the line. Kept it in. Lazaro checked him. Now Stevens. Phil Bork in front with Mario Lemieux. Another shot. And again the net is off the magnets as the Boston player Recchi was upended.
Mario Lemieux was playing for the bank shot off either Recchi or Wesley because Andy Moog had the angle on him, was square to Lemieux, so Lemieux had no play. And watch it come across, it's up in the air. Look at Mario Lemieux at the side, and look at Andy Moog, square, legs closed. He tries to bank it in off Recchi or Wesley, and it just goes wide. Wesley had Recchi all tied up and didn't take the penalty. Good coverage in his own zone.
Pittsburgh out shooting Boston 2-1 in this period. 8 shots to 4. And here's another maybe right here. Stopped by Moog as Mario wound up and let her fly. Moog in the right spot again. Covering the angle. Murphy missed it. Poulin will push it down the ice. 35 seconds left of the penalty. Phil Bork leads the rush again. For Recchi at the line. Recchi going in. Here's Murphy. Centered it. On again. Phil Bork was in. Same spot. And he couldn't get the backhander up. Perfect play.
Bork all by himself. And he just couldn't control the puck. Andy Moog down on his stomach. And Bork just couldn't get a shot away.
John Sweeney trying to clear for Boston. He's doing a pretty good job of it. Gets up this center. And in with Bob Sweeney behind him. Shoots it off as Neely steps from the penalty box. 1:35 left in the period. It's still 3-2 Boston. intercepted by Lazaro. Jennings around the net, and Erie lifts a high one. It's knocked over the boards at the Boston bench with 1:17 remaining in the period.
And Bob Sweeney and Mario staring daggers at one another. Don Sweeney and Ron Francis just before that. The last minute and a half, John, of that Pittsburgh power play was their best power play pressure of the hockey game. Now there's Don Sweeney. And Francis here, this is their little set too, and Kevin Collins jumped in before they carried it on any farther than that. And then it was the other Sweeney, no relation, and Mario back doing their thing once the whistle went.
Earlier on the power play, the Penguins set it up well on the rush, gained the blue line, and watch Phil Bourque go to the net. He's got it, he's got lots of time, pulls it to his backhand, and then just loses it off the heel of his stick. He looked at the net and just lost the puck off his stick.
Here we go as the sequence ended and the whistle had gone as the puck was batted into the Boston bench area, and now the staring begins again.
It'd be a lot easier for Bob Sweeney to shadow Mario if they were both sitting in the penalty box.
A minute and 10 seconds left as the Penguins move it up ice again. Francis trying to create a problem in there and can't do that. Cleared back out. Erie will go in after it. Into the final minute of the period. Yager with the puck. Look at him working again. He gets in front of the net now and goes after it. Yager pulled it down. And finally it's knocked off his stick by Ray Bourque. Neely ran into a stiff hit by Samuelson. They push and shove as it's Mario Lemieux coming in. Yager's shot was blocked. Bourque tried to clear it. Now there's a penalty going to be called. It's going to be against Boston with 22 seconds left in the period. Neely and Samuelson, boy, they looked like they were going to go. But it's Neely who's going.
Samuelson has done this since the opening shift, and here's the first hit. Now look at Samuelson and Neely right here. Both going at it. Neely has a hold of Samuelson's stick. The bench has a hold of Neely's stick. But here's where the penalty is called. Now watch the right hand, Neely. Samuelson hits Neely. Neely goes back at Samuelson. Right there with the right hand, the straight right hits Samuelson. And Neely goes off.
Roughing penalty to Cam Neely in 1938. And the Penguins have just the 22 seconds remaining in this period with the man advantage. Wesley for Boston hangs onto it, kills a few seconds, and then shoots it away. Here's Lazaro moving up. Lazaro will get a shot. Has to go with it. 10 seconds remaining. Poulin forcing the play. Now Mario Lemieux slides into center to Stevens. Time running out on the Penguins as the siren goes to end the second period. And look out, they're not done yet.
Kevin Stevens and Dave Poulin brushed against one another. Then Stevens went into Andy Mogan. Just before the last face-off, I'm sure Dave Poulin and Bob Johnson were exchanging heated words.
And Larry Murphy has words with Dave Poulin. Dave Poulin's already in the runway. And Larry Murphy is talking to Poulin.
Cooler heads prevail, and they'll go to their respective rooms for this second intermission. First period, Cam Neely with his 15th of the playoffs at 5:23. Stevens tied it 13 seconds later. Then Wesley on a second Boston power play goal at 11:53, and Mario Lemieux with a wraparound from Loney and Yager at 16:34. And in the second period, very quickly, the Bruins hit. Bourque from Janney and Ruzicka. 38 seconds into the period. Coming up in our second intermission, Don Sweeney of the Boston Bruins will be along to chat with Chris. The score at the end of 2, Boston 3, Pittsburgh 2.
There are hundreds of simple ways you can save money and save electricity right at your fingertips. Be a power saver. Let's give tomorrow a hand.
Over the years, the folks at Andre Lanoux Pontiac Buick in Tilbury have been making people happy, and happy customers have been telling their friends.
At Andre Lanoux Pontiac Buick in Tilbury, we believe word of mouth is our best form of advertising.
And satisfied customers have the nicest things to say.
If it's been a while since you were completely satisfied with your new or used car deal, maybe it's time to visit the People Place in Tilbury. Andre Lanoux Pontiac Buick GMC, exit 56 off the 401.
From the first name in quality windows and doors, the last word in energy efficiency. New Ultratech HP3, the powerful insulation values of argon for this name.
Ultratech HP3.
Only from Ducana. Showrooms in Windsor, Tilbury, and Sarnia.
It's a great time for a great break. Your GM dealer's going all out with great breaks. Great breaks on new cars, great breaks on new trucks, or great 9.9% financing. Choose 9.9% financing on a great selection of new in-stock 91 models. Canada's largest dealer network also brings you great finance breaks from as low as 1.9% for 12 months on all new 90 models. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. What a break!
There are hundreds of simple ways you can save money and save electricity right at your fingertips. Be a power saver. Let's give tomorrow a hand.
Good news, Canada. Now there's something fresh and instant that'll open your eyes to the world. Something that brightens, enlightens, and provides all the essentials you need.
This is the CBC Morning News Live.
Get the complete package. The CBC Morning News, first thing in the morning.
Just one goal to report from that second period. At the 38-second mark, Ray Bork 6 of the playoffs from Jani and Ruzicka. Ruzicka with 3 assists in the game. All 3 involved in the play have 5 points already in this series. Well, there are so many story angles in this series of a magnitude of a Wales Conference championship. Some are lighthearted, some are newsworthy, and we've compiled those in our Wales Conference notebook. Most hockey players are superstitious. We went inside the Bruin dressing room to reveal Boston's lucky charm and where the precious piece is preserved.
My son, we came home from the 6th game in Montreal, and he watched the game and had a lucky penny for me. He said, Dad, take this lucky penny to the rink with you and you're going to win, don't worry. And so I took it with me and I had to put it somewhere. So I put it in my jock with my buddy Fridge over here, the trainer. I said, where can I put this? Maybe in my skater? He said, no, in your jock. So I put it in my jock, and it's going to stay there right to the end.
In return for the luck charm, 6-year-old Christopher Nyland has just one request.
Right here, there's only one thing he asked me is if I won't fight as much as I normally do. I think it scares him a little bit, but I just tell him that there's some bad guys out there and I have to watch out for them.
Bruin Rookie of the Year nominee Ken Hodge Jr. hopes to see action later in the series. He suffered a separated shoulder in Game 7 against Montreal.
It was a Game 7 hit. You know, it's part of the game. You got to play it like that. Maybe during the regular season it might have been called. I don't know. But I'm a little bit disappointed that I can't play right now. And the guys are playing real well, and that's the most important thing. We're winning games.
The Boston Garden has shown its age in recent years and will soon give way to a new garden. A project just underway on the same site, but plagued by delays and financial problems.
We're still projecting that in the fall of '93, the Bruins will be skating in the new Boston Garden. And I have no reason to discount that right now. We hope that within the next 60 days that we'll have final documentation and commitments from the banks, and we'll be able to start construction immediately behind the old garden September of this year.
The most legendary of all Bruins is Bobby Orr, one of the most popular athletes this city has ever known. So popular that even 15 years after his retirement, Orr is one of Boston's most marketable figures and recognized faces. Speaking of greats, legendary Soviet Alexander Yakushev
now coach of Moscow Spartak, is a guest of the National Hockey League here, along with 4 other Soviet coaches, observing the playoff preparations of the Bruins and Penguins. And when these two teams play, there's often confusion about the two Borks. They're not brothers, but Bill does have a sibling with a superstar's name.
This is the real Ray Bourque, not the first Ray Bourque, the second Ray Bourque in Boston, but here he is.
Number 1 in your brother's heart. Is this a tough name to have in Boston?
It has its advantages.
Tell me about those.
Oh, you know, you get a lot of people asking for your autographs. So when you're out of town, they don't know that it's really, you know, they don't know the face of Ray Bourque, so that, you know, underneath the helmet, so they might not know.
But we all know that I'm the only Ray Bourque in Boston.
Bob Sweeney and Don Sweeney aren't brothers either, but Don Sweeney's joined us. That was a physical second period. It seems like a different hockey game than game 1.
Yeah, it seems that the first game of the series is more of a feeling out process. The second game, teams are right at it. I mean, we're physical, and they came out, you know, they came out hard. Obviously, we want to continue to be on the body, and hopefully we'll get a couple calls.
The Garden tests the durability of any player who plays here. The Bruins have always had a lot of injuries. How tough is it for a small defenseman like yourself to play 80 games here?
Well, you got to be able to get in and out of the corners as quickly as you can, and they'll come up on you quicker than most other buildings. But I sometimes have an advantage in the smaller building. I can get to things a little quicker than some of the other players. But containment's always a problem. You know, the Loneys and the Stevens. For the guys like me, you have to work a little extra hard.
I haven't had a chance during Hockey Night in Canada to talk to a Harvard graduate before. Tell me about going to school at Harvard.
Well, it was the best of both worlds for me, to tell you the truth. The opportunity to study at one of the finest institutions in the world and combine you know, one of the top-level hockey programs in the country was, you know, to me, a dream come true. And I took full advantage of it. I enjoyed my 4 years there and got my degree, and hopefully it'll help on down the road.
And good luck the rest of the way. We're going to let you get back to the dressing room.
Thanks, Chris.
Don Sweeney of the Boston Bruins, who plays it tough on defense, and you'll get a little indication of it here as he spars with Ron Francis. Live, this is Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
. Dodge Shadow and Plymouth Sundance. A special feeling of comfort and confidence with child-proof door locks and an optional driver's side airbag. The longest powertrain warranty and 47 standard features. Dodge Shadow and Plymouth Sundance. Because as long as you have precious cargo to carry, we'll keep building them this way. Chrysler. All you have to do is drive one.
Guess who forgot to play their Lotterio numbers? There's no telling when your numbers may come up. So don't forget to play Lotterio. Ontario's own game.
After 14 years, winning with Winterio Extra is now guaranteed because a pouch of 5 tickets that doesn't win anything can now be redeemed for 3 free tickets. Guaranteed. So now there's an extra reason to play.
In all the world, there's only one paint. One for all the changes in style you'll ever go through. A paint that goes on beautifully and goes on being beautiful. Style upon style, color after color. That paint is Dulux from CIO. In all the world, more bright ideas start with Dulux than with any other paint.
Rock and roll is okay, but I prefer rap.
Awesome. Wait a second. Shady Acres was supposed to get the Coke, and the frat house was supposed to get the Pepsi.
Coke, Pepsi, what's the difference?
I-24.
Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
This is radical.
Let's examine our game within a game of Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship. Ray Bourque on his way to another 40-minute night. Mario Lemieux has played just under 20 so far, and both the Stars have goals in this one. Giveaways a big factor in Game 1. The Penguins have improved in that category tonight, giving the puck away just 8 times to 10 for the Bruins. However, and in spite of the fact the Penguins have outshot the Bruins 20-14, the score at the end of 40 minutes of play is Boston 3 and Pittsburgh 2. Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in a moment.
Regrettably, many will never experience the thrill of driving this totally redesigned world-class sedan. Oh, it's not that they can't afford it. It's just that they never expected to find it here. The all-new, totally redesigned Escort LX. Were you expecting something else? Now, with 8.9% financing, it's an experience you can't afford to miss.
When you need to get there, you can count on Esso. We understand what's important to you, and we're here to give you fast, friendly service and get you back on your way.
You're on your way with Esso.
The trouble with Honey Nut Cornflakes is they're just too good to miss. People will do just about anything for that light taste of honey and real nuts. Sprinkled on crunchy flakes of corn. Kellogg's Honey Nut Cornflakes. The trouble is, they taste too good.
The baby in this picture is going to have a very special year. A year of first steps, first words, first birthday. And none of these firsts will ever happen again. Now, if you were this baby's parents, which film would you choose? No other film in the world gives you purer, richer colors than Kodacolor Gold film. Aren't your pictures worth gold?
Sports Weekend has World Diving Cup action live from Winnipeg. And the World's Cross-Country Running Championships from Belgium. Plus, the Pan Am Boxing Trials from Sarnia. It's all yours on CBC Sports Weekend tomorrow.
For those of you who spent part of the evening with JR and Sue Ellen, here's how the scoring unfolded. Tonight, in the first period, Cam Neely with his 15th in as many games, and Mark Recchi assisted on Kevin Stevens' goal. 13 seconds later, Recchi has a 10-game point streak. Wesley with another power play goal for Boston, but Mario Lemieux, before the first period was over, tied the score with his first of the series. Here's how Lemieux did it. Randy Burridge leaves Lemieux open behind the net, and Mario shows his great reach with the wraparound goal past Andy Moog. It was 2-2 after one. Ray Bourque scores in the first minute of period 2. Vladimir Ruzicka has 3 assists. Craig Janney has a pair of assists in this game. And here's a look at the goal by Ray Bourque. All 3 players who figured in on this scoring have 5 points in the series. Janney's been hot, and so is Ray Bourque, beating Tom Barrasso. And so it's 3-2 as we get set for the third period of play in Boston. The 1991 Stanley Cup playoffs will return in a moment.
You're watching Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Imagine a car where the advertised price is the price you pay. Sound impossible? Sounds like Dodge Shadow and Plymouth Sundance. Now at a drive-away price of only $12,789. The price from your Chrysler dealers of Ontario includes the freight, license, GST, PST, and all other taxes. Shadow Sundance, including air conditioning and automatic for only $12,789. That's what you pay. All you have to do then is drive away. Advantage, Chrysler.
When you're busy being a mom and chauffeur, the last thing you're thinking about is your brakes, right? But if something told you they weren't right, would you know where to go? You don't want to trust them to just anybody, so you go to Midas. Free 49-point brake inspection, trained experts, written estimate, the famous Midas guarantee. And nice people.
Good morning, Murray.
That really look after you. When it comes to brakes, nobody tops the Top Guns. Nobody.
Just like an old friend, you can count on and trust.
sunshine. Right over the rust, treat it to trim clad. Give it some TSC.
More people paint and protect more things with Tremclad than with all other rust paints combined.
Give it that TSC.
Back at the Boston Garden, and as the second period ended, this was the scene. Kevin Stevens was in the middle of it. The buzzer sounded to end the period, and as it did, Dave Poulin skated by him rather closely, and then Stevens kept going and took a bit of a run at Andy Moog. Others joined in. There were penalties called at the 20-minute mark. Nobody in the picture got them, however. Young and Lazaro offsetting minor penalties for roughing. Cam Neely had gone to the box at 19:38, so as the period begins, the Penguins face a minute 39 worth of power play time.
I think it was Andy Moog who took a little run at Kevin Stevens. Remember, in the first period, it was the other way around. Moog was just retaliating from that.
Now third period underway, and it starts with a crash as Stevens hits Wesley along the boards. Here's Murphy for Pittsburgh on this Penguins power play. Recchi in. Recchi to Stevens, going right in on goal. Moog down, and the puck on the side of the net. And once again, Andy Moog is covering on the right post to hold him off the scoreboard as the Penguins try to get one early on this power play.
Kevin Stevens talked about how many chances the Penguins missed in the game number one. And look at Stevens on this one. Looks at Moog, pulls the puck, and then just loses it to a fellow teammate, and then they try and bang it by Andy Moog, but they're in behind the net. It hits the side of the net. Poulin's there. Phil Bork was there. Never did cross the line.
Stevens had 3 game-winning goals against Washington.
There's a smart play by Poulin on that faceoff. Instead of trying to draw it back, he saw the point man wasn't there and just slapped it to the empty zone. Got it all the way down.
In goes Mario Lemieux at the line, had it knocked off his stick. It's Poulin again, ever present, killing a penalty out for Boston. Knocked down, trying to draw a penalty, but the play continues. 50 seconds left of the power play, and Stevens is up there again. Stevens tried a shot. It was blocked by Wesley and Bork. Murphy back for Phil Bork. To Lemieux. He slapped the pass right into Poulin's feet. And Dave Poulin shoots it away down the ice again. Phil Bork back of the net, starting up. Lemieux takes his pass. And Murphy over the line, bumped by Don Sweeney. And the Bruins doing a good job killing the penalty. However, this time, it's lifted over the boards at the Pittsburgh bench.
Penguins power play is having problems, but a lot of the reason is because of the Boston penalty killing, and a big part of it is Dave Poulin winning faceoffs. And on the last play, Poulin had the faceoff in his own zone, and instead of trying to draw it back, he just slapped it down. The Penguins had their extra defenseman up on the line. Good play by Dave Poulin.
21 seconds now remaining in the penalty. Face off again inside the Boston line. Comes to Murphy. Lemieux shot. A hard one that Moog saw. And he stopped. Blast from the blue line. Roberts, the other defenseman on there, along with Murphy, as Recchi takes it up to center. Trying to put it to Mario Lemieux and could not. Neely is ready to come on. He is out of the penalty box. Here's a pass right in front of the net. Lemieux got it back. Stevens shot. Put it through the crease. And the puck is cleared to center ice. Neely forechecking. Lemieux again for Francis. Stevens on his right. Roberts on the play. Puck is shot high in the air. Bounced down to Francis. Skipped away from him. Don Sweeney skates up there. Shoots one as he hit the blue line. Here's Cam Neely. Looking forward against Francis. Ruzicka in there with him. And the Penguins now shoot it down the ice, but icing has been waved off Mullen charges in with Loney. Bruins get away from the two of them and come out to center. Janney brings it in. Back to Janney again. And Loney broke it up as Galley thought he was in a spot for a shot. Trottier and Loney, they shoot it in. Galley bumped off the puck by Trottier. Samuelson has to back up. He sees Neely getting ready to come out. Galley goes back in again. Janney roots it along the boards and brings it out against Samuelson. A pass in front, Rosichka, and a nice save by Barrasso. Loney back out. Play goes up the center, and the Penguins just shoot it in. Trottier overskates it in the zone. Ray Bourque ahead to Christian. That's stopped. Drop back. Jennings. Mullen off his stick. Skriko brings it in with Christian. Here's Skriko. Centered it. Poulin out of his reach. From the blue line, Poulin again. Side of the net, Skriko centered it. Stevens picked it up and cleared it ahead. Recchi and Mario Lemieux going in. Lemieux around the net, comes out with a pass, and the net again is off the magnets with 3 players on the ice in front of Andy Moog.
Brand new 1991 playoff t-shirt. We've got an injured Bruin, Don Sweeney, not long ago in our studio with Chris, and he was perhaps the one up against the post in that crash as the net was off the magnet, and now the trainer's there to attend to Don Sweeney.
Heavyweight sweatshirt presents $24.95. They're available in medium large.
Boston leads 3-2, nearing the 4-minute mark of the third period.
Mario Lemieux with a little room gets to work it in behind the net, but look at the Penguins crashing into Andy Moog, and there's Don Sweeney right in the rib cage against that far post.
Tonight's game is coming to you from the Boston Garden.
A lot of people have asked, why lease or purchase your next new or used vehicle in beautiful downtown Essex?
Because right now we offer 8.9 financing or 500 to 1,000 cash back or 6% red carpet lease rates on new vehicles.
When you're shopping for your next vehicle, you owe it to yourself to take the short drive to beautiful downtown Essex and visit Ken Knapp Ford.
Our business is saving you money.
Boston 3, Pittsburgh 2. Stanton shot kicked out by Moog. Good stick save by Andy Moog on that shot through traffic. Christian and Poulin go in again. Poulin forced into the corner by Stevens. Samuelson trying to get it out, got it by Bourque down the ice. But it'll be brought back to the Pittsburgh zone because that is icing.
Now there's Don Sweeney at the end of the Boston bench, seeming to have his wind back. He recovered from the crash or near the end of the bench. Seems to be all right. You know, that time on Bourque, John, he could hit 40 tonight.
Yeah, quite easily he'll be at 40. He's out there again. Talk about the Penguins' power play and its lack of production. Gary Galley's out on the ice. He's been used sparingly. He, like Andy Moog, had the flu, was dehydrated, and went to Mass General. There's some IV recharging. 3 hours today, and Galley's out there. The Penguins' power play without Paul Coffey is 2 for 26 in the last 5 games. With Paul Coffey, the 3 games before that, they were 5 for 12.
Puck loose right on the draw. Nobody can move on it. Now Bourque turning around at the blue line. A clever play, put it in over Bob Sweeney's stick. However, Penguins can't get it out. Francis trying to kick it loose. Again, it comes to him. Taglianetti around the net. Duras without the helmet. Phil Bourque's pass knocked down by Francis at center. And Burridge got back to help Ray Bourque. Here's Jagr moving in. Bourque got a piece of him going by. Galley pushed around by Jagr. Jagr chasing the puck. Duras couldn't get it out. Jagr has it. Centered it. Stopped by Bourque. Ray Bourque cleared it on the glass. 5 minutes gone in the third. Boston leads 3-2, and at center ice, Duras and Jennings push at each other, and they call the play. probably get minor penalties. There they go. Duras of Boston, Jennings of Pittsburgh.
It's more than beautiful design and superb handling that have made Ford Taurus the standard by which other wagons are judged. It's every detail, right down to safety advances, like a standard driver's side airbag and available anti-lock brakes. You won't find either on an Accord wagon. You see, we believe that everything we put into Taurus wagon should demonstrate our concern for everything you'll put into Taurus wagon. For a limited time, get 8.9% financing on Canada's best-selling wagon.
Peter Duras and Grant Jennings in the penalty box. They both get roughing penalties, although no punches were thrown. Here's how it starts. Look at Jennings has a hold of Duras' stick. There's a shove right back, left, right. No punches landed. I think they could get a rematch, though. Maybe Don King would want to help promote it. Duras and Jennings. Now watch Kevin Collins right here. Peter Taglianetti tries to get in, and Kevin Collins makes sure that he does it.
Pittsburgh trying to get it going again. They had it going in the second period. They outshot Boston 9-4, but the Bruins had the only goal, that by Ray Bourque, in the first minute of the second period.
In the last 24 and a half minutes of play, the Bruins have only 4 shots on Tom Barrasso, but one went. That was since the Bourque goal. None of them have got in, but it's still 3-2 because one went in just before that, and that gives them the lead. Bob Johnson says young Yager's catching on quickly. Wonders why he doesn't get on the ice in certain situations. Planes to him. Loses 10 seconds a shift, he says, when he removes him for a face-off and puts him on.
Out of the net, Barrasso. Nyland coming in. Bob Sweeney bumps Erie. Nyland looking for it, but it's chopped away by Murphy. And up to 6 minutes of play in the third period. Nyland leaves it. Hammond trying to move in, knew better, and got back as he saw Erie about to break out. Cody Roberts to Murphy, up to center. Mullen backhands it in for Erie, and he's going in back of the net. Out was Moles to try to move it away. Here's a chance for Roberts, make the shot. Hammond fell, didn't see it. But he was in front of the Pittsburgh player, and he couldn't shoot it. Moog now snaring one that came flying into the crease area. With 13:53 remaining in the third.
Rock and roll is okay, but I prefer rap.
Awesome. Wait a second. Shady Acres was supposed to get the Coke, and the frat house was supposed to get the Pepsi.
Coke, Pepsi, what's the difference?
I-24.
Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
This is radical.
Now here's what Bob Johnson was complaining about off the top of our show. The Bruins skating around, talking, waiting, giving Raymond a chance to catch his breath a little bit.
Ray Bourque gets set. Recchi for Pittsburgh against Poulin. Samuelson's shot blocked. Other side, a high drive, came close. Hit the crossbar, I think, and bounced away. Another shot from the line. Pittsburgh pressing again now. Mario Lemieux left it. Recchi took a swing at it. Recchi chasing it again against Bourque. Here's Stevens. Chopped away. Another shot. Moog grabbed that. And Andy Moog continues to shine for the Boston Bruins.
One of the things as a goaltender, when you don't play against a team an awful lot, a player like Paul Stanton, you can't remember how hard he can shoot the puck. Stanton rattled one off the crossbar from the point, then he gets this shot. And look at, he gets all of it. Look at Andy Moog's reaction. He tried to go for it with his glove, couldn't get it up there fast enough, and hit his logo. Now look at this shot by Stanton. Gets all of it, deflected, and it goes off the crossbar. But look at where Andy Moog's standing. He thinks he can beat him just on reflexes. Stanton can really shoot the puck.
Bruins get it out, but they have been laid back now for 26, 27 minutes. They had the first goal and the only goal of the second period at 38 8 seconds when Bork scored. It's been all Pittsburgh. They've had numerous chances, but then there's Moog. Here's Stevens cruising in. Got to play in for Mario Lemieux, scramble. Moog ends up in the net, but the puck stays out. Moog slow getting up. Mario turns, shoots. He missed. What pressure by Pittsburgh now. Here's Samuelson, screen shot. He tried to set somebody up, and Neely is going to get a chance. Samuelson coming back. Oh, look out. He sailed right straight for Neely and nailed him. And now Neely, strong as ever, knocks Samuelson down. What a collision with these two heavyweights. Galley around the net. Coming back out. That's Samuelson's helmet on the ice. They're both gone off. I should hope so. What a collision with two big guys inside that Pittsburgh line. Here's Yager. He's tough to hit. Yager passed it over in front of the Boston net. Francis tried to punch it back. Yager chasing it again. Here's Poulin after it. It goes to Lazaro on the other side. And the Bruins just get it out over the line. Poulin racing in there on the attack. Christian! And he just missed it. Christian again, it's knocked away from him. Here's Yager trying to get away. He's up against Wesley. Yager one-hands the puck behind the net. Look at him working. Wesley all over him. He still has it. A long shot, and that's just wide. This youngster, Yager, with great strength. Wesley all over him. Almost unbelievable. Oh, brother. Great action here in the third, but it's Boston leading 3-2.
Hey, welcome to the rhythm. Come on, everybody, catch the beat. Hey, yeah, make your move. You know it's right. Know it's right. Get it all together when this day turns tonight. The silver bullet. Get on the right gear now.
Boy, can John Garrett call him, or can he call him? Off the top of the show, he said, watch out for Mr. Neely and Mr. Samuelson. Here they go.
Now watch Samuelson. No matter what, he concentrates on the body right there. Looks at Neely's chest, goes right at it, and then he hangs in there with one of the toughest guys in the NHL, Cam Neely.
And Neely is a little upset because he hammers and hammers and hammers some more.
Oh, what a collision. Well, you're right. Samuelson had his mind made up near center ice when Neely was the only Bruin had a chance at the loose puck. Just lined him up and sailed right into him, and there was big Cam Neely standing up and taking it all. And seemed to have lots to spare. Taglianetti shot it in for Pittsburgh. Nyland checked his man. Here's Erie getting a quick shot away. Oh, stop that. Ever Alert standing up there, made the stick save. 9 minutes gone in the third period. 3-2 Boston. Bruins now. Bork is knocked down by Herdina. Gets back up though. Bork flipped one over the line. Erie watched it come down. Dropped it back. Taglianetti and Jennings. Jennings going in. Dropped it for Mullen. His shot doesn't get through. Again, it's flipped off the boards and down the ice. As the Bruins continue to try to keep the pressure off, and the Penguins keep coming at Boston, and here they come again. Taglianetti shot it in from center. Recchi there with Mario Lemieux. But this time, the Bruins galley organizes a play to center. Burridge dropped it up the line. Ruzicka's shot. Burridge got in with Neely. Neely carried in behind the net against the boards by Stevens. They hold it with her skates. Now it comes loose. Neely trying to hook it out with his skate. Does again. Fights along the boards. Penguins get it out. And Recchi is away. Wesley chasing him. Here's Stevens. The shot deflected by Galley. Centered again. Samuelson on the ice and plays it off to the right. A long shot wide. A Boston penalty coming up. Mario Lemieux was dumped in front of the net. And Boston will get a penalty. There's 9:40 remaining in the third period. The Penguins power
only 8 penalty minutes in the entire regular season. He's now up to 11 in the playoffs. He gets 2 for holding on Lemieux, and he holds him right here.
Reaches around with that left hand, leaves his stick with only one hand. Earlier on, Andy Moog has lost his stick. Remember, they scored their first goal, and look at the reaction there. Does he have a little twist in his back? Seems to be all right now.
Since the Bork go-ahead goal in the first minute of play in the second period, the Penguins have outshot the Bruins 16-4.
They have been coming close. Here's a long shot. Moog grabbed that. Boy, it's getting frustrated. Frustrating for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're shooting from all angles, from in close. That one from the blue line was screened, and Moog caught it.
Shot by Scott Young. Tees it up. And Scott Young, strictly a power play specialist for Bob Johnson. Never sees the ice unless it's with the man advantage. Now look at Scott Young one-time it, but Andy Moog sees the original shot, gets enough of it, and there has been his nemesis all evening, Kevin Stevens.
Golan trying to shove it out. Got it as far as the line. Mario Lemieux back in the net. Moog hooked it away from the net area. Again, Mario back of the goal, hit the back of the net. Couldn't find the puck. Ray Bork did. Stopped by Murphy, however, at the line. It's kept in. Around the net, Lemieux again. Centered, and they score! Finally, the Pittsburgh Penguins' relentless pressure pays off, and they have tied the game.
Mark Recchi, I think it is, digs it out after Mario made the play from behind. And John, the net was empty. You don't see that too often with him.
A bad decision. He doesn't see Lemieux behind the net. Now look at Andy Moog tries to play it, but Lemieux is right there. Moog didn't see him. Wesley tries to block the pass out, and it's a second effort by Lemieux to Recchi. And Recchi sneaks in behind Ray Bork to chip it over Andy Moog. Now watch Andy and Ray Bork get tied up with each other. Lemieux doesn't give up, feeds it out to Recchi, and Recchi out of the air gets it up and over Andy Moog. Finally, their power play gets a goal.
And finally, they tie the game. It's 3-3. The time of the goal. Mario Lemieux setting it up for Recchi. And Scott Young also in on the scoring play. And that's a power play goal for Pittsburgh here in the third period. 3-3. Boston's Ray Bork trying to tip it through center. Francis stopped it. Yager giving Don Sweeney a chase. But Sweeney moved it up over the Pittsburgh line. Francis picked it up. They went in offside, and they stopped the play.
That time it was the Pittsburgh Penguins who were taking their time on the line change. And referee Dan Maruelli was starting to bother Coach Bob Johnson. Warned him about a delay of game penalty. The Penguins just persisted in throwing enough at the net on Andy Moog that eventually you knew they were just going to put one by him.
Here's Bork shooting it right on the net from center ice. Rasso the save. He has not had much to do. Second period, and here in the third. Pittsburgh has been taking it to Boston. They have tied the game on the Recchi goal. The 7th of the playoffs. Bork and Burridge. Joris on the play. Burridge brought it in. Tried to pass it over in front for Bob Sweeney. Murphy and Yager get it out. Back in again. Murphy to Roberts then. Roberts coming to center. Up near the Boston line. He decides to throw it off into the corner. And Wesley is around the net with Yager forechecking. Penguins keep it in. Yager was there. Here's Yager coming in. Trying to put one in on the backhand on the short side, but Moog just choked it off. Any room that appeared to be there. Rasso coming out. On the boards, Wesley fed it ahead. Here's Janney on the puck. Neely in front. Oh, and he blasted it wide. What a chance for Neely of Boston. Right on the money, that pass. Here's Neely again. That's deflected. It doesn't reach the net. Galley in center ice. In behind Janney with that pass. Erie stopped near center. The puck rolled on, and Galley takes over. The Penguins continue to change quickly. Mario Lemieux knocked one down. He has Mullen in front. He scores! Mario Lemieux right off the bench. Grabbed the puck, and Pittsburgh leads 4-3. Great play by Lemieux.
A giveaway, but the way he picked it out of the air. Oh.
Here's a giveaway by Don Sweeney in the air. Look at Lemieux pick it out about 2 feet off the ice. Now look at this move on Andy Moog. Pulled it wide, used his reach. Moog with a good poke check try. Look at how far Andy Moog's got that stick out, and Lemieux still drew it by him and slid it into the empty net.
Well, Pittsburgh here at the 13-minute mark of the third period grabs the lead to 4-3. Boston has called a timeout. Our Stanley Cup coverage continues in a moment.
Good news, Canada. Now there's something fresh and instant that'll open your eyes to the world. Something that brightens, enlightens, and provides all the essentials you need. Get the complete package. The CBC Morning News, first thing in the morning.
The goal by Mario Lemieux, unassisted, at the 13-minute mark of this third period. Look at the shot clock. 30 by Pittsburgh and 16 by Boston. So 4-3 Penguins here in game 2. The Bruins 6-3 winners in the first game of this Wales Conference Championship. After this game tonight, the scene shifts to Pittsburgh for the next 2. Don Sweeney moving up along the boards and going for the corner against Phil Bourque. Bourque caught him. Bob Sweeney helping out. Neely centered it. Ruzicka was covered though. There goes Stanton behind his own net. Neely bumped him. Ruzicka got in, and Barrasso pouncing on the loose puck.
Bob, you're mentioning the difference in the play. In this period, Boston has had only 2 shots, and one of them by Bourque came from well outside the Pittsburgh blue line. So they've had no offense really at all since the Bourque goal in the first minute of the second period.
They're trying to create some chances here. Bob Sweeney in there. And look at Samuelson, the glove around. That's what he does best. No penalty call. Don Sweeney trying to create some offense.
And the crowd trying to create some offense. They're all standing roaring now. Face off deep in the Pittsburgh zone. Penguins get it out. 6:24 remaining. Third period. 4-3 Pittsburgh. Mullen trying to chop it away, but it's off Wesley's stick over the glass.
After the first game, and so much talk about the Penguins giving the puck away in their own zone, Bob Johnson said our quarterbacks were throwing interceptions all night. Well, tonight it's the Boston quarterbacks have been throwing the interceptions. We've been keeping track here of the giveaways, and in this period alone, the Bruins have turned the puck over 6 times inside their zone to just 1 for the Penguins.
And always in that dangerous area. We saw it there. Don Sweeney, sure, Lemieux made a great play picking it off, but in that 2 to 3 feet from your own blue line, when everybody else has turned, gone the other way for the transition game, nobody back there to help defend against Lemieux.
Penguins get the puck out. Hit the linesman Kevin Collins, allowing Mullen to pick it up and chop it into the Boston zone. Ray Bourque and Wesley back. Neely, Janney, they're turning. Ruzicka with him on that line. And the pass to the defenseman Wesley. Up for Janney. Janney clever with the puck on a back to Bourque, but it's broken up. And France is moving down with Mullen. France is coming into Mullen. Back in front again. And once more, they crash into the net. Moog goes tumbling to one side, and the net flies off. But Moog keeps that puck out.
Ford and Mercury dealers are taking care of business with low 8.9% financing on Escort, Ford Taurus, Mercury Sable, Ranger, F-Series, Mercury Tracer, Thunderbird, Cougar, Aerostar, Ford Tempo, Mercury Topaz, and more. We're not only taking care of business, we're also taking care of you.
Andy Moog coming up large again for the Bruins, but a bad play by Ronnie Francis. Look at this play to Mullen right through. The Bruins defenseman stayed right with Mullen. That was Glenn Wesley. And then Francis and Stevens crashed the net. Andy Moog up against the post again.
Trottier on the draw, had it knocked away by Skriko as he tried to go for the net right off the draw. Trottier poked it down to Erie again. Skriko stopped him. Don Sweeney and Galley. Don Sweeney coming out for Boston, getting to center, trying to shoot it in. That's broken up. Loney giving chase, tries to get away from Skriko. He got a piece of him though, allowing Galley to come back. Bruins twisting and turning inside their own line. Here is Skriko getting a weak shot in on the net. Barrasso no problem. Skriko going in with Christian. Poulin is there also. Stevens and Trottier, or rather Murphy, and Murphy fell, got back up, got the puck loose. Poulin is dumped hard. Murphy got in front of the net and then had to clear it quickly. 4:40 left in the third. 4-3 is the score. Pittsburgh leading. Mario Lemieux put him ahead at 13 minutes. Here's Lazaro upended, and a penalty coming up to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Taglianetti is going off for tripping. And when we come back, Boston with a chance to tie it.
Pittsburgh defenseman Peter Taglianetti very upset on the tripping call. Jeff Lazaro drew the penalty. I think, John, you can say he drew it with speed because he was flying when he hit the defense right here.
He was going wide, and Taglianetti had his stick between his legs, but let it go immediately. So Taglianetti's stick was guilty for sure. And Taglianetti goes out and sits the penalty out. And a big chance here. The fans are in. The Bruins power play has already scored twice tonight.
4:28 remaining, third period. Boston trailing by a goal. Neely, Janney, Ruzicka, Wesley, and guess who? 77, just inside the line. Bourque had the second period goal for Boston. He gives it to Janney this time. Ruzicka has Neely in front of the net. Couldn't get him the puck. Janney again on the boards. They pass it around on the outside. Lots of patience. Janney, side of the net. It's centered. Trottier there, and a play called. Boston player Wesley was knocked down. There might be another penalty in Pittsburgh. We'll wait.
Boy, that was away from the play. The puck on the boards, left side, and over to the right of Barrasso.
Another penalty.
Gordy Roberts is going to get a high sticking penalty. The Penguins trying to defend in front of their own net. And look at Taglianetti who's giving it to Dan Maruelli as he comes over.
A minute 43 of a two-man advantage. Showing on the clock now. Top of the screen. Down goes Wesley. There's another one. Bodies were falling. But Roberts and Taglianetti are in the penalty box.
That was Ulf Samuelsson hauling down Ruzicka on the other side of the net. Now look at in front of the net. There's 28. Gordy Roberts gives Wesley the shot with the left hand. And at the other side, Samuelson is mugging Vladimir Ruzicka.
Tom Barrasso, John, has had 4 shots in this period. And he looks out front now and he sees just Trottier, Samuelson, and Francis. And the heavy load for the Boston Bruins are out there. He's going to be tested now.
They've got so much time left on the original penalty. Now they've got a 2-man advantage. They're only down 1 goal. They can afford to be patient and wait for the 81 scoring chance.
1:43 left in the Taglianetti penalty. Roberts in the box to start his now. 4:11 left in the third. Pittsburgh leads 4-3 on the Lemieux goal at 13 minutes. But the Bruins with a 2-man advantage, and the crowd solidly behind them. Here we go. Neely wins the draw. Ruzicka from Bork. Takes a look, put it in front. Got by Janney and Neely. Janney on the other side. Galley up the line with Bork shooting. He missed. Penguins try to get it out high, and they do it. Got by Ray Bork down the ice.
The Bruins really have to be careful defensively. If they put the stick on any of the Penguins, they'll go down and try and draw a penalty of their own.
1:15 left in the first penalty, so lots of time for Boston. At 2-man advantage, Janney takes the shot. Neely parked in front. Here's Ruzicka in the corner. Back to Bork. To Galley. Again to the side of the net. High shot. Nobody could make contact. Bork to Galley. Shot. Miss. Side of the net now. It's center to Bork. He's in deep. Has to go back to Galley as Francis covered him. Bork shot. Block. Rebound. Score! Janney. And we're tied.
What a play by Vladimir Ruzicka. Janney gets the puck back, but look at Ruzicka. He doesn't panic on the rebound. Here's the shot by Bork, and look at Ruzicka. Instead of shooting it, he gives it to Janney at the side of the net, and Janney just slides it in. What a play by Ruzicka. Now watch the shot, and watch Ruzicka. Instead of just shooting at the goaltender, a little slide pass to Janney, and an easy goal for Craig Janney.
That's the 4th assist of the night for Ruzicka. Janney gets the tying goal, and the Bruins have a power play for another minute. Time of that goal was 16:49. Bork also assisted on the Janney goal. The 3rd power play goal for Boston in this hockey game. They have a shot at another one now. Neely centered one for Ruzicka. Janney with him and Bork at the blue line. Here's Janney again. Into the corner, Ruzicka. It was intercepted. Bork knocked it down and gave it to Janney. Lemieux intercepted and gets back up to center. Mario Lemieux going in on Bork. He fell as he tried to go inside. 20 seconds left in the Pittsburgh penalty. Here's Neely. He has Ruzicka up on the play. Now Ruzicka coming in. Another shot for him. Here's Neely. Back to Bork. That one fly into the corner. Taglianetti around the net. And it's Mario Lemieux putting it all the way down the ice as Roberts is now out of the penalty box. 2:05 left in the third, and we're tied at 4. Ruzicka, high one in on the glass. Murphy, Roberts gets it ahead. Francis moving down ice with Stevens on his left. Stevens breaking for the net, centered it. Moe got the blocker in the way of that one. Out for Boston. Christian, Poulin, and Don Sweeney. Sweeney couldn't go for the net. Cut off by Roberts. Roberts charging back to center with Stevens. 1:30 remaining in the third period. Here in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Final. The Bruins trying to get the go-ahead goal here And a 2-0 lead in the series. Pittsburgh trying to tie it before they go back to Pittsburgh for games 3 and 4 on Sunday and Tuesday for Tisqueco. And the Bruins are coming on now. It's been all Pittsburgh. 1 minute left in regulation time. Pittsburgh moving it out. Mario Lemieux and Phil Bourque. Here's Lemieux going right in. A great play by Ray Bourque. Mario Lemieux tried to center it. Other side with 45 seconds left. Shot from the line. Knocked down by Ray Bourque. Recchi into Lemieux. And Bourque is there again to intercept the pass. What a great shift for Ray Bourque. Above and beyond the call of duty that time. Stopping everybody. Now Barrasso has to be careful. But Bourque was outstanding on the Boston defense on that last Pittsburgh rush.
He just won the Norris Trophy in my eyes with that shift. Ugh.
And this is after playing about 40 minutes tonight. Look at Craig Janney, the goal scorer on the power play.
Their cameras were on the benches as Janney scored the tying goal. Bruins on the left. And look at Johnson. He can see it coming. And right there, the puck went in the net. Obvious which team scored. 2 penalties back-to-back almost with about 4.5 minutes left in the third period. A period that the Bruins seem to be out of it, John. Let the hockey team and the crowd back in. And it's tied with 27 seconds left.
Pittsburgh Penguins responding after that penalty. They still had a minute to kill, and they managed to kill the rest of that power play and put themselves in a position here to go to overtime.
Boston trying to keep it in, but Francis will get the puck out over his own line. Up near center, 20 seconds left in regulation time, and only 15 now as Barrasso comes out to stop it. Samuelson put it off the boards down the ice, no icing. So you can count on it. Overtime coming up. 5 seconds remaining in regulation time. Somebody hollered up behind us, get it out. They do. And the siren goes to end the third period with Boston coming back to tie it after Mario Lemieux had given the Pittsburgh Penguins a 1-goal lead at the 13-minute mark.
Well, John, here we go again as far as the Bruins are concerned. I mean, I used the phrase earlier that Bob Johnson had said yesterday, the Andy Moog barrier. Well, the Andy Moog barrier wilted a bit, but I think there was enough of it to keep his team basically in the game, although they didn't deserve to be to that long stretch where they were being totally outplayed. But he kept them there to within 1.
Now, we talked about the Bruins specialty teams before the game. Again, the Bruins power play coming through. 3 for 6 on the night, playing very well and controlling when they had the man advantage. And the Penguins were 1 for 6.
So we're going to take a look here at the great play by Lemieux. He had just picked the puck out of the air on the interception off Sweeney, and that's a Mario goal to be sure. And the Penguins went ahead 4-3, and they were dominating the hockey game until they were 2 men short on this play.
Here's the 5-on-3, and watch Ruzicka pick up the rebound and slide it to Janney by Samuelson, and Janney's got the empty net.
So coming into the third period, it was 3-2 Boston. Recchi at 11:01 tied it. And then the goal you just saw, Mario Lemieux, his 7th of the playoffs at the 13-minute mark, and Pittsburgh was ahead 4-3. But then with the 2-man advantage, that other goal by Janney from Ruzicka, his 4th assist of the night, and Ray Bourque at 16:49. And so they're tied after 3 periods, 4-4. 33-22 the shots in favor of Pittsburgh. So we're tied at 4, and we'll return with our Stanley Cup coverage in a moment.
You're watching Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Regrettably, many will never experience the thrill of driving this totally redesigned world-class sedan. Oh, it's not that they can't afford it. It's just that they never expected to find it here. The all-new, totally redesigned Escort LX. Were you expecting something else? Now, with 8.9% financing, it's an experience you can't afford to miss.
Your heart can see beyond any road that you want to be, 'cause it's your day. You're on your way with us all.
Welcome back to Boston. Dallas ended with a bang tonight, and so will Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship as we're headed for overtime. Well, perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that the Pittsburgh Penguins are headed to overtime in Game 2 of this series. After all, they went to overtime in Game 2 of the previous 2 series they played. The Penguins winning both of those, but on home ice tonight, they'll try to post their first victory in May in on the away in the Boston Garden. Let's take a look at the highlights of the previous overtimes between these two teams. The Pittsburgh Penguins played overtime in Game 2 against New Jersey, and Jaromir Jagr scored the prettiest goal that we've seen in overtime this year as he swept in and put it high over Chris Terreri, giving the Penguins a 5-4 victory. Then against the Washington Capitals, it was Game 2 of the Patrick Final. Remember, the Penguins lost the first game of each of these series. Great play there by Ron Francis over to Kevin Stevens. He beats Mike Liut to end a marathon. 7-6 was the final score there. Now, the Boston Bruins have been in 2 overtimes as well. They've lost both of them, both to Montreal. Game 2 against the Canadiens, it was Stéphane Richer at the 27-second mark, batting the puck behind Andy Moog. And the celebration was on then, and then the Canadiens forced a 7th game in the Adams Division Final. Game 6 last Saturday night at the Forum, and Shane Corson was the hero that night as he slid it past Andy Moog. Interesting that the Bruins would not win a game in overtime in the playoffs because they were unbeaten during the regular season. Now let's go upstairs and rejoin Dick Irvin and John Garrett.
Well, thank you, Chris. You know, there are pros and cons on any penalty, I guess, really, and especially penalties called at very critical times in hockey games. There were the Penguins playing one man short, about 3.5 minutes or so to go in the regulation time. They're leading by 1, and the Roberts penalty gets called. And I know that right now the Pittsburgh people are squawking like crazy about that one. Boston smugly saying, we took it, and they scored.
Well, Glenn Wesley went down like he'd been hit with a high stick, but on the replay you could see that Gordie Roberts just gave him the standard glove in the face that you see all the time. I thought Ulf Samuelsson on Vladimir Ruzicka on the other side was a more flagrant violation, but it was called, and that's one of the things. 5-on-3 late in the game, you have to try and kill it off. But the Bruins, their power play is clicking. Their special teams, especially Vladimir Ruzicka on the power play. He gets that puck. He's so poised. He's so calm. I don't know whether he realizes that it's late in a Stanley Cup semifinal playoff game. He's just so relaxed. He's making great offensive plays.
You know, you mentioned, John, that sometime during the evening, I don't know if it was on the air or off the air, that the Bruins the other night, they were coming off Game 7 against Montreal, and you said, well, maybe they still had the emotion going. But they sagged badly here tonight until they tied the game, and then they seemed to take over.
Well, again, it was their power play, and you were talking about how they looked a little tired, and I think they might be a tired team. The Penguins had a week off. They had a chance to relax. Mario Lemieux has had a strong game tonight. This is the best game I've seen him play in a while. He would be the first star right now if I was picking the stars. But the Boston Bruins, Ray Bourque has played so much. He looks tired. Look at Lemieux, the way he's skating. He's just lugging the puck. Every time he's on the ice, he's a threat. They had the Bob Sweeney shadow early in the game. That didn't work. and now Lemieux is dominating on almost every shift.
See, that was that last toward the end of the period and that great shift that Raymond Bourque had when he did just about everything. You just wonder about this guy. Defensively, the Bruins, there's Raymond, and who else is there? But offensively tonight, I think we've seen the Pittsburgh Penguin team through the most part of it anyway, John, that we expected to see in this series.
Well, that's true. You get the one line that has Stevens on it, and Stevens has been very good, and then you have Lemieux. And every time Lemieux and Recchi are on, they create some chances. So you have those two really good lines, and then who do the Bruins throw out? They have the Neely-Janney line with Ruzicka on the power play, but other than that, they really haven't created any offense from their other three lines.
All right, let me ask you now, from a goaltender standpoint, the tying goal, there was a rebound. Now, Barassa had it, lost it, should he have kept it? Could he have kept it?
5-on-3, one-timer from Ray Bourque. I don't think he had any chance. He was concentrating on stopping the original shot. He did that. He had to hope that the rebound went to the corner. It didn't.
Well, you wonder how rugged an overtime will be, of course, in a rugged game. I think we have yet another example of the Cam Neely-Ulf Samuelsson confrontation. Here it is. There's the one he went right at him.
A good solid hit by Samuelsson. Samuelsson has done his job and more tonight. Every time Neely's been on the ice, Samuelsson has been doing just that. He's taking a pounding. And look at the pounding he takes on this play. Neely's got him down, gives him another little shot. Samuelsson's got a hold of Neely's leg. It's been like that from the first shift tonight. And Samuelsson's taking it and coming back for more.
Okay, John, pounding or not, they will return, certainly, as the teams will be back. It's overtime ahead here at the Boston Garden. The score after 3 periods tied. The Penguins 4 and the Bruins 4. And Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. We'll be right back.
If you always wanted a luxury car, Gus Revenberg could be the answer. Your regional dealer has just returned from the GM Direct Auction with a fine selection of 1990 Cadillacs. These executive units have few kilometers but many luxury extras, and the price will impress you. For as low as $27,948, Gus Revenberg will put you into a sparkling, elegant Cadillac. Make a date with the regional dealer's price break on a limited number of fine Cadillac automobiles. Gus Revenberg, Tecumseh at Forest Glade.
At Centerline, before you check out with rental tools or equipment, they're thoroughly checked over by our in-house maintenance department, checked for safety features and reliability. Because when you have a tough job ahead, you need the right tools in hand. Centerline Equipment Rentals is the one source endorsed by professionals and preferred by handymen. The right tools, the right price, expert instruction. Centerline, the source for all your equipment rental needs. Off EC Row at Central on the South Service Road.
The law offices of Greg Monforton and his partners. A good firm to have on your side if you've been hurt in an accident.
The proper role of an insurance company is to provide the best coverage at the most affordable rates. But if you've been injured in an accident, insurance adjusters must act in their company's best interests. That's their job. I'm Greg Monforton, and it's our job to act in your best interest, to make sure all your rights are protected and that you receive all the benefits you deserve. I invite you to call. Your first meeting with us is free.
Greg Monforton, on your side.
Headed for overtime at the Boston Garden in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Championship after a late power play goal by Craig Janney, set up by Vladimir Ruzicka, who has 4 assists in the game. Speaking of overtime, Don Cherry's watching. Mario Tremblay back in 1979. I knew that was one of the highlights of your career, setting up the overtime winner by Yvon Lambert.
Well, first of all, I would like to say big thanks to Don Cherry, because Boston had too many men on the ice, and when Guy Lafleur scored a tying goal and Yvon Lambert scored in overtime. So thanks, Mr. Cherry. I really appreciate it.
Keep your head up tomorrow night. Now, how about this game and those late penalties? I know the Penguins are fuming.
Well, I think they are right to be fuming, because I'm telling you, it's not too often that a referee gonna give 2 calls like that and put the Boston Bruins with 2-man advantage with 2 minutes to go in the game. I mean, you know, and plus Samuelsson maybe would have deserved a penalty for what he did to one of the Boston players. I think it was Ruzicka. So if I would be a Pittsburgh player, I would be very mad too, you know.
Now, you told me about Samuelsson. That's been one of the real stories of this game, as Dick and John talked about. His play against Neely is something to watch.
That's why I was saying after when Montreal lost against Boston, Montreal next year need a left defenseman, a tough defenseman, like Samuelsson is doing tonight on Cam Neely. I mean, in the third period, we've seen Cam Neely a couple of times miss the net because he knows now that Samuelsson's coming at him, so he has to think quicker. So, and Samuelsson did a tremendous job tonight on Cam Neely, unbelievable. And that's the way a defenseman has to play Cam Neely. Without playing like that, Cam Neely is going to kill you.
And the Bruins know now that they have to be more wary of 66. He's had a big game.
Oh, well, let's say in the first game, I don't think Mario Lemieux played a game like Mario Lemieux can play. Tonight, Mario Lemieux and Tom Barrasso should say a big thanks to Mario Lemieux, because I think Tom tonight on 2 goals should have stopped those pucks. But Mario Lemieux, when Mario Lemieux wants to play, he's one of the best in the league, and it shows up tonight.
Well, they've told us for a long time that Vladimir Ruzicka had great offensive talent. They questioned the defense, but he's sure paying dividends tonight.
It's a typical example. Ruzicka was doing nothing good in Edmonton. Glenn Sater didn't like him. And we've seen that so many times. Players doesn't do nothing for a team, and come in Boston, and he's playing like the real Boston Bruins. He's playing well. He's got 3 assists tonight. So I guess, again, Mr. Sinden was right to get Ruzicka from Edmonton.
Certainly paid big dividends tonight, and our thanks to Mario Tremblay for joining us.
My pleasure.
Mario Tremblay, of course, with that great assist on the 1979 Yvon Lambert goal. Here's the reaction of the go-ahead goal by Pittsburgh's Mario Lemieux, but of course, Craig Janney answered back. We're headed for overtime. Our Stanley Cup playoffs continue in a moment.
A lot of people have asked, why lease or purchase your next new or used vehicle in beautiful downtown Essex?
Because right now we offer 8.9 financing or 500 to 1,000 cash back or 6% red carpet lease rates on new vehicles.
When you're shopping for your next vehicle, you owe it to yourself to take the short drive to beautiful downtown Essex and visit Ken Knapp Ford.
Our business is saving you money.
Gabriel's Furniture and Carpet in Leamington is your complete home decorating center. Whatever your floor covering or furniture needs are, you can find it all under one roof. We have professional installation and setup crews, plus everything we sell is backed by our famous small town service. Gabriel's Furniture and Carpet, just 30 minutes from Windsor and miles ahead of the competition. Compare and save. Call 1-800-567-5786. Gabriel's Furniture and Carpet in Leamington. Small town service with big city selection.
Hi, give me a light. No, a lighting boutique light. Thanks.
Hi, may I have a light, please? A lighting boutique? Thank you.
Light, please. Lighting boutique light.
Doesn't anybody drink anymore?
Not with fixtures like those. Good?
For a dazzling array of fixtures, it's Ray Patau's Lighting Boutique, 4072 Walker Road, Windsor.
And welcome back to overtime at the Boston Garden. The Bruins and the Penguins tied at 4. And we have our first overtime game between these two in the Wales Conference Final. It's been a great hockey game tonight, dominated really in the middle parts by the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Boston, as you mentioned, Dick, when they did get that goal, then they took over.
Well, you wonder about the old cliche momentum going into overtime. There is no comparison, of course, these teams when it comes to how long they've been around in the playoffs. Going into this game, the Boston Bruins in Stanley Cup play have been in 77 overtime games. The Penguins have been in 9. 77. Is that an omen, gentlemen, that particular number? I don't know.
Look at potential goal scorers in overtime. Craig Janney and Cam Neely for the Bruins naturally would be your top 2 picks. And at the other end, we saw Mario Lemieux skating around along with Kevin Stevens, who had the last overtime goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Washington series. And that 7-6 game.
Cam Neely has had only 1 shot on goal in this game, the one in which he scored in the first period. Raymond Bourque had 7 and Mario Lemieux 8 during the regulation time. 1 shot.
He had that great chance set up by Janney where he fired it wide. He was about a foot and a half wide. Mario Tremblay was talking about he might be rushing his shots a little bit because of the pressure put on him by Ulf Samuelsson.
The team starting overtime will be at full strength. Janney, a power play goal for Boston at 16:49, while the Bruins were enjoying a two-man advantage. Pittsburgh is ready to go. Boston still huddled near the bench. And now they get set. Mario Lemieux at center. Stevens and Recchi. Samuelson and Stanton, the defenseman. For Boston, Bob Sweeney, Janney, Neely, Bourque, and Wesley. Overtime at the Boston Garden is underway. Bourque fires one from his own blue line. Recchi tipped it out, right to Bourque again, up for Neely. Bruins come in a hurry as we start overtime. Now the Penguins knock it down the ice. Recchi against Bourque. Chopped it out. Stevens will pick it up. He has to wait for Lemieux to get back outside the line. A nice play in for Recchi, upended by Neely. Neely lost it to Mario Lemieux, coming in, centered it. A penalty coming up against Ray Bourque. In front of the net, Lemieux made the play for Recchi, and Recchi was decked by Ray Bourque.
Giveaways in your own zone, and Cam Neely again, he gave one away in the third period. Might be a tired player, not thinking as well. Coughed that one up to Mario Lemieux and created the chance. Here's the play. Now look at Neely, the soft pass in his own zone, picked off by number 66. And there's Ray Bourque on Mark Recchi with the left arm wrapped right around him. And he takes a holding penalty.
So isn't this something? 37 seconds into overtime at the Boston Garden, with the Bruins winning the first game of the series. Locked up with the Penguins now, 4-4, and Pittsburgh with a man advantage early in overtime. And of all people, Ray Bourque is the penalized player. Recchi couldn't win the draw from Poulin. Poulin and Lazaro have their work cut out now to keep the Penguins outside that line. Wesley and Galley are the Boston defensemen. It is Murphy feeding it ahead to Recchi. In goes Mario Lemieux, takes it, dropped back, he fell. Tried to sweep it over in front, stays with it. And Galley will get a chance to clear it down the ice. He does. Just to the right of the net, Morasso out to put it up on the boards. Lazaro gets a chance, and he just missed. Another long shot, that's wide. Poulin from the other point, hit the goal post. Poulin hit the goal post. Would you believe? Pittsburgh fighting the bullet and coming back. Mario Lemieux in the corner, crowd in front of the net. Shot from the line, no rebound. Andy Moog has it. How about that for a start of overtime? Bourque a penalty, and then Poulin off the post, and now Moog coming up big.
Short-handed, and watch Jeff Lazaro go to the net. Here's a shot from Poulin. Look at Lazaro. Gets a stick on it and gets it back towards the net. It hits the inside of the post and stays out. And at the other end, Moog was complaining that Kevin Stevens was in the crease. They try to dump it towards the net. Now look at Stevens right in front of Andy Moog. Moog gives him a shot back to the point, and watch the shot through a maze of players. Hits Wesley, and finally Moog is able to cover up.
1:07 left of the penalty to Ray Bourque. He's played a lot tonight again for Boston, wondering now if he'll play anymore.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are calling a timeout here, trying to organize their power play. Their power play is 1 for 6, and you can see Bob Johnson explaining to Stevens and Lemieux what he wants here. Big opportunity for the Penguins. Got the notepad out, although he's not drawing any pictures like he used to do when he was the head coach of the Calgary Flames.
He's got the notepad, and Mike's got the towels. All-American matchup in the coaching department in overtime this season. This playoff year, they both played 2 games. The Penguins won both of theirs. The Bruins lost both of theirs, as you saw. So, it'll mean a thing when the puck goes in eventually here.
The Bruins are coming on again with Lazaro and Poulin, Galley and Wesley.
First bad news for Boston fans, the Celtics lost their game tonight.
Recchi, Stevens, Phil Bourque, Lemieux, and Murphy. Mario Lemieux. Cross ice pass inside the zone. Now back to Murphy. Fires it in for Lemieux. He centered it. Stevens shot. That's blocked. Another shot. Holt got a piece of that. Murphy again near the line. Mishandled it. Bruins can't get a stick near it, though. Here's Stevens. Stevens trying to get it out for Lemieux in front of the net. It's cleared down the ice. 40 seconds left in the penalty. Murphy coming back. Lazaro and Poulin go off. Bob Sweeney is on the ice with Christian. Phil Bourque shot it in for Pittsburgh. Recchi along the boards. Bob Sweeney got a stick on it. Got it out to center ice. Bob Sweeney trying to go in. Haul down. And there's going to be a penalty to Pittsburgh. 18 seconds left in Ray Bourque's penalty. And now there'll be 5 aside as Murphy goes off.
I've seen overtimes where guys have been mugged and they haven't called anything.
Here's Sweeney. Now look at Murphy. Grabs a hold of the stick and then goes down, but I agree with you, Dick. Now look at, they both look at the referee immediately, and look at Larry Murphy's reaction to the call. And Maruelli's made a couple of calls that I'm sure will be questioned tomorrow by both teams.
Murphy to the box. The Bruins get a life. Bourque has 18 seconds remaining. And a face-off deep in the Pittsburgh zone to the left of Tom Barrasso. They played 2:20 of overtime. And what a big game this is turning out to be now. The Bruins can take a 2-0 lead in games to Pittsburgh. Or the Pens can go home all tied up and have home ice advantage. Pittsburgh starting out. Coming to center. And carrying the puck in, Roberts. Stopped by Don Sweeney. Here's Neely. Shovel it off to the right side, and it comes back to him. Bourque is on the ice. Boston with the man advantage. And Neely is on the puck. Neely to the other side with it. Wesley beats it ahead. In front is Neely. It's chopped away by Samuelson. Neely again. Rifle it back at the goal. Bruins are pressing on the power play. Wesley gives it off. Bourque to Wesley again. Shot. Knocked down. Neely fired it off to the side. Ruzicka came close. In front, Neely. He missed it. Bruins continue to press. Here's Wesley. Bourque is open. Bourque ready. Bourque passes. Ruzicka can't score. It's off the boards and cleared out to center ice. The Bruins are doing everything but putting it in by Tom Barrasso. Ruzicka thought he had it. Neely shot. That's blocked. 45 seconds left on this power play. You wonder if the Penguins can hang on. The Bruins throw everything at him.
Ronnie Francis slid in behind Tom Barrasso to make the save on that shot by Ruzicka.
Ruzicka plays it up now on the right side of Neely. He's along the boards and stopped. The Bruins keep it in thanks to Wesley's work. But now it's hammered away and down the ice by Jennings. And up on the penalty clock, 20 seconds left in this power play. Here come the Bruins again. Relentless now with their pressure. Ruzicka played it in it. Christian shot. Backhander stopped by Barrasso. Mullins slapped it on the boards and got it down the ice. That will kill the penalty. Murphy standing up at the penalty box, and he's on the ice now. So they're at full strength. And Poulin in with Christian. Knocked off his stick. Right to Don Sweeney. He nearly lost it. The Penguins are in. Sweeney knocked his man down, and Galley is turning back out. Now everything goes. And Squeako comes to center. He has Galley with him. A shot that misses the Pittsburgh net. Poulin dropped it back. Don Sweeney played it in on the boards. They begin to hit now. And Barrasso decides, uh-oh, I'd better hang on to it. And he does as he looked up and he saw Poulin standing on the doorstep.
Mike Milbury shaking his head. His power play did everything but score. Vladimir Ruzicka had Tom Barrasso down and out. Now watch Mark Recchi later going to the net. Gets crashed into the boards. Now look at Mark Recchi right there, chopping down Petri Skriko. Now watch Ruzicka here. Barrasso makes the original save, and there's Ron Francis, the old ball hockey goaltender, sliding across to make the save.
Right off the shaft of the stick.
Barrasso been playing with a broken stick through all of that, and Taglianetti came off the bench and slid a fresh one to him. 5 shots for Boston during that stretch when they had the man advantage.
Face off in the Pittsburgh zone, and the Penguins had to move in a hurry. Poulin was in. Skriko back of the net to Poulin. Here's Christian again. Around the net with the brakes on in the corner. Christian trying to get away from his Chuck Samuelson. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. But now he hands it back, and Phil Bourque is out. Up there with Francis Bourque going in. And he lifted one high. Andy Moog reaching out with the stick. And the puck bounced high over the net. Poulin turning. Getting it out of the zone. Penguins shoot it back in. Bourque is going off. That's Phil Bourque of Pittsburgh. Poulin out. Shot along one end, and the Bruins want to make changes. Coming up to 6 minutes of heavy action here in overtime at the Boston Garden. Ray Bourque backhands it up for Janney. He's down with Neely, and that's cut off at center. Stevens poke checked at the Boston blue line. Murphy turning. Rink wide onto the stick of Ray Bourque. Bob Sweeney, Neely, Janney, and Ray Bourque. High pass deflected over the head of Bourque as he was speeding toward the net. Roberts back. Put it by Neely. Here's Mario Lemieux. Good pass up to Recchi. Recchi coming in. Gets his shot away. A high one off the net. Out for Bob Sweeney. Skates away from Lemieux. Then hit by Murphy and goes down heavily. Janney stopped the tearing pass. Put it over in front. Wesley had to back up. The Penguins are on it again. Stevens coming in. Moog out of the net, had to play it. Recchi chopped it into the corner to Mario Lemieux. He had stopped by Wesley. Now he chases the Boston defenseman. Janney comes up to center. Neely with him. Fake the shot. Neely now. He looks like he's going off to the Boston bench. So is Janney as they shot the puck in. They played 7 minutes of overtime. Here's Mullen. Coming in on the play, Hrdina. Hrdina tried to pass. That was stopped by Burridge. Lazaro speeding away. It hurt. Given no room whatsoever by Samuelson. Crowd didn't like it, nor did Lazaro. But the Penguins come up. It's up the line, and Mullen is in ahead of the play, so the Bruins get a chance to clear. They do. Don Sweeney jumps out over his own line and gives it to Skriko. He's stopped by Stanton. Moog will steer one to the corner. Galley there. And here's Skriko, Burridge, and Lazaro. Skriko dropped it. Burridge gets a shot. Knocked down by Barrasso. Every shot becomes dangerous now, of course. In sudden death overtime here at the Boston Garden. They're offside at the Pittsburgh blue line.
Amazed at the way O. Samuelson always gets square to the opposition when he takes somebody out. Jeff Lazaro and Samuelson going into the boards, and Samuelson wrapped him right up because he was square to him. Now watch Samuelson. Square to the player, square to the player. Look at this. Lazaro's able to take him in, but both players are tied up. How can referee Dan Merwelli call a penalty when they're both hanging on?
Here I mentioned the Celtics have been beaten tonight in their playoff. They're tied 2-2, and they took television ratings here. The night of the first game 2 nights ago, there were 300,000 sets tuned into the Boston game in this area, as compared to 120,000 tuned into the Celtics playoff game coming from Indianapolis.
This is hockey town for Boston, and it's hockey time as the Bruins are in the Stanley Cup semifinals, the Wales Conference Final. Bourque in for Poulin, centered it. Here's Christian.
Christian. A save by Barrasso, but there's Ruzicka for the rebound. And look at Barrasso sprawling backwards, knocks it into his own net. And watch the play. Ray Bourque on the ice again. Out in front it comes to Christian. Look at the move by Christian to the backhand. Gets a shot away. There's Ruzicka all by himself. And he bangs it by Tom Barrasso.
Well, the momentum we talked about, John, carried over. Boston out shooting them in the overtime 7-1. So they had it all, really.
Ruzicka with 4 assists and a very, very big goal on the night. At 8:14 of sudden death overtime, Ruzicka ends it for the Boston Bruins. And they take a 2-0 lead back to Pittsburgh for games 3 and 4 on Sunday and Tuesday. And what a hockey game we had tonight here at the Boston Garden. Glad you could join us. The Bruins win it 5-4.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC was brought to you by Molson Canadian. What beer's all about. By Esso Associates and Imperial Oil. You're on your way with Esso. And by Pepsi. It's got what it takes.
Here are the Molson 3 stars of tonight's game, a Boston Bruin victory, thanks in large part to the play of Vladimir Ruzicka, who had a goal and 4 assists to be star number 1. The second star for the Penguins, Mario Lemieux, had 2 goals and an assist, and it looked like the Pens were going to a regulation time victory, thanks to a go-ahead goal by Mario. The third star, Craig Janney, a big night for Janney with a goal and 2 assists. We're going to take another look at the game-winning goal of Game 2 in this Wales Conference Championship. Dave Christian, the first shot, and then Ruzicka knocks in the winner, once thought to be a defensive liability in Edmonton and here in Boston. Ruzicka is the hero. Tomorrow night, the Oilers will play host to the North Stars in Game 2 of the Campbell Conference Final. It's an 8 o'clock Eastern start, and then on Sunday, we'll be in Pittsburgh. Penguins still looking for their first win in May. Will play host to the Boston Bruins. But Boston leads this series 2-0 now after their overtime victory tonight at the Garden.
This is CBC Television.
Greetings. Marketing surveys prove allergies are annoying. This annoyometer symbolizes how Claritin provides effective relief from annoying allergy symptoms. Note the soothing photograph "what" on the box, and Claritin won't make you drowsy. Allergy symptoms are nothing to sneeze at. So try effective Claritin. Okay, cut. Cut.
It's a great time for a great break. Your GM dealer is going all out with great breaks. Great breaks on new cars, great breaks on new trucks, or great 9.9% financing. Choose 9.9% financing on a great selection of new in-stock 91 models. Canada's largest dealer network also brings you great finance breaks from as low as 1.9% for 12 months on all new 90 models. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. What a break!
Big news! With Canadian Tire's new catalogs for spring and for summer, you'll find great values on everything you need, right when you need it.
Barbecues.
The Karcher water sprayer. It shoots, it sprays, it's out of this world. It's so incredible, so powerful, it'll get rid of any unwanted debris.
The Karcher water sprayer, just $399.99. Save $70 through May 11th at Canadian Tire.
This is CBC Television, Windsor 9.
Friday, May 3rd. Tonight, on The National, the cyclone's rising toll with little help on the way. Some ugly sentiments over the proposed transfer of an Ontario school. And on The Journal, car theft. A boom industry in these bus times. A look into the auto thief's bag of tricks. The National with Knowlton Nash.
Good evening. Food, medical supplies, and other relief have finally begun arriving in Bangladesh.
but not nearly enough to lift the country's 5-day-old nightmare. Much of Bangladesh is still underwater tonight following a catastrophic cyclone. The number of dead keeps climbing. 100,000 plus is the latest estimate. And countless others are threatened by floods, famine, and disease. We have a report tonight from Jeremy Bowen of the BBC, who describes the relief effort stuck in low gear.
Heavy seas and strong winds returned to the Bay of Bengal this evening, threatening the lives of the survivors. It is not another cyclone, but 5 million people in the devastated areas have been without food, fresh water, and shelter since Monday night, and they're getting weaker by the day. At least 20,000 people are missing at Cox's Bazar, a seaside town near the border with Burma. The cyclone tore into it for 9 hours. Islands nearby, which had populations of tens of thousands, are still covered by 15 feet of water, say relief workers. The Red Crescent has managed to get through to Cox's Bazar and has distributed a small amount of food and medicine. Much more is needed. The cyclone, though, has virtually cut Bangladesh off from the outside world. Relief workers haven't been able to pass on details of what they need, and they don't know what's been sent. Diplomats and relief workers have flown over the area, and increasingly they're asking why so little aid has got through. Some say Western governments shouldn't wait for detailed lists of requirements. They say they should already have organized an airlift. But others are criticizing the new civilian government of Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. They say she's inexperienced, reluctant to tell the military what to do. The Army's helicopters, relief workers say, aren't being used properly. Some wonder whether the military is waiting to see if the new democratic government fails its biggest test so far. Whatever the truth of that, the most immediate difficulties are being caused by the wind and the rain. And the weather is crippling the relief operation. This afternoon's helicopter flights have been cancelled because of a storm, and if those helicopters don't fly, then many more people in the affected areas will die. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Bangladesh.
The government of Bangladesh now estimates property damage at more than $1.6 billion. So far, the world community has pledged about $22 million in aid. Some people fear it's the beginning of civil war in Yugoslavia. Yesterday, the worst ethnic violence in almost 50 years flared in the Republic of Croatia. Today, the president of the republic said his government is under attack, and he vowed to fight back if unrest continues. The army is now patrolling the streets of Borovo Selo, the center of yesterday's violence. At least 15 people died in gun battles between police and members of the republic's Serbian minority. It all began when police arrived in a convoy of unmarked vehicles, but it's not clear if the police or the Serbians fired first. It looks like most Soviet coal miners will be back at work tomorrow. Hundreds of thousands of them have been off the job for 9 weeks. They've been on strike for higher wages and political reforms. Today, the Miners' Strike Committee said the strike was being called off to prevent further damage to the economy. There was some confusion along the Turkey-Iraq border today. The frontier that was supposed to remain open as a lifeline for Kurdish refugees was suddenly and inexplicably closed. This is the border station where convoys carrying food, medicine, and refugees have been crossing freely. Today, they were stopped. Turkish officials held up trucks, troops, and reporters for several hours before opening the border again. It's believed the frontier was closed as an unofficial protest against what Turkey says is negative reporting about its relief efforts. The Iran hostage crisis ended more than a decade ago, but it's coming back to haunt the White House again. There are allegations that a deal was made during the 1980 U.S. election to keep the hostages in Tehran until Ronald Reagan and George Bush got to Washington. The hostages were released on Inauguration Day in 1981, and there were some questions at the time about the coincidence. Now those questions are being asked again, and the person being asked is now the U.S. President. From Washington, the CBC's Keith Bogue reports.
Take any questions in here.
It's starting to get on the president's nerves.
Was I ever in Paris in 1980? Definitively, definitely, no.
Ever meet with any Iranians?
That's all I'm going to tell you.
The allegation is that Bush was in Paris in 1980 to negotiate a secret deal with the government of Iran, a hostage deal. not to release the American hostages, but to delay their release until after the presidential election that year. At the time, President Jimmy Carter was struggling to get reelected. Had the hostages been freed earlier, his campaign might have ended differently. As it turned out, he lost. Ronald Reagan won. And just 20 minutes after his inauguration as president, the hostages were freed. It seemed like a fortunate coincidence for Reagan and for his newly elected vice president, George Bush.
Feel like we know you. Welcome back.
Thank you, Former Iranian President Abul Hassan Bani Sadr has written a book on secret deals between Iran and the U.S. Bani Sadr says he has proof of contacts between Khomeini and the supporters of Ronald Reagan as early as the spring of 1980. Former Carter aide Gary Sick has also written about it, saying that Iran cooperated with the Reagan election campaign in return for arms.
My cause, in a sense, is to get the story out, to simply make people realize that something happened here that should not have happened, and to, if nothing else, correct the historical record.
Carter himself has said the allegations merit investigation.
There's no doubt that as soon as President Reagan got in office, the military supplies did start flowing to Iran immediately through Israel. That's been proven.
Bush clearly wants the whole story just to go away.
And let's try to stop this rumor mongering that's going on. Stop repeating rumors over and over again.
But the rumors aren't likely to go away soon. For one thing, Democrats in Congress have already begun what they call an exploratory investigation. And for another, former President Bani Sadr has just been given a visa to come to the United States on a promotional tour for his book. Keith Bogue, CBC News.